TFA fam, what is up? What is happening? We're back. It is week 5. Start a sit show where we answer all of your questions. No question goes
All of 'em.
unanswered. So,
All of
as
'em.
our faithful community has already done, the chat is loaded already with questions. So, let's not waste anybody's time and get right into it.
Do it.
Not good at fantasy. Hal or Danny Dimes? This is going to be Sam Howell for me.
Ooh, I am shocked, Kev. I thought this was going to be a Danny Dimes spot for you. I'm also going to go Howell, even though Miami has allowed more fantasy points per game to the position than wait, is that right? I was just looking at Washington for some reason. Never mind. They are 2-3 in fantasy points allowed. I'm still going to go with Howell though.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't do Danny Dimes.
That offense is
I'm
so
sure
bad.
eventually, somehow, they'll kind of figure this thing out a little bit, but I'm not putting my faith in it. I have Sam Howell as a top 12 quarterback this week, so yeah, not doing it. Stafford also an option. I would still go Sam Howell.
Excuse me, on Thursday. Can never remember. Yeah, I want to go Sam Howell on that one as well.
Sam Howell week. Let's go.
What
Is
could go
Kyron
wrong?
a sell high candidate? I mean, I think it depends on what you can get for him, right? Like, sure. I mean, I think he's definitely a definite option as a sell high, but it's also hard to find a running back that is getting 80+% of the snaps, 80+% of the rush attempts, and 80+% of the routes. So that is not an easy thing to find. But if you can make a trade for him that makes sense, I'm totally on board with doing it. There is some of his inefficiencies. He has not been effective as a runner. It's just a lot of been volume based, and but he is being utilized as a pass catcher. So we'll see how that changes once Cooper Kupp comes back. And it sounds like maybe Cooper Kupp plays this week. I don't know. It sounds like they said today that he's pushing to play this week, but they're not sure if they're going to let him play or not. We'll see. But they said he is ahead of schedule and that there is a shot he could play this week. But we just don't know yet. It's a little bit too early. KD23, what up, TFA? What up? Fields or Stroud this week? Looks like Fields got some confidence. Well, yeah, when you play the Broncos defense, not hard to get some confidence back.
Yes, that is the confidence elixir, I would say. I'll go Fields here. Stroud has obviously been impressive. He's impressed me to start this off. I think he's 4th in passing yards right now, but he does not have that rushing upside that Fields has. So, in a plus matchup, I'm going to go Fields here.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I'm going Fields here. It has been impressive to see though Stroud and what he's been able to do as so far. I mean, I think only Cam Newton has thrown for more passing yards, I think, as a rookie than he has. So it's been an impressive start. He's yet to throw an interception, which is also a positive too. So really been impressed with CJ Stroud, and I think he's a top 12 quarterback moving forward. I mean, unless something changes. So Nico Collins is him. I can't remember who it was today on Twitter, but I saw a really good comparison. I actually thought it was good that this is Houston's version of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and I'm like, I like that comparison with Nico Collins and Tank Dell. So Zach, appreciate the super chat. Trade question PPR. I've been offered Lamb, Gibbs for Herbert, or Brian Robinson, Devonta Smith for Herbert. Which do you like?
Offered Lamb and Gibbs for B-Rob, Devonta Smith.
I think I would go Lamb and Gibbs. I mean, Brian Robinson has been fantastic. We talked about him yesterday on the show that we did for the running backs, and he's a top 12 running back right now. But Devonta Smith's I think the best player you could be getting from this is CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I like the Lamb side. Give me the best player in the deal.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I would do it just for Lamb straight up. So really, it's a pretty good kicker there.
Yeah,
You get him. So. Yeah, that's what I would do. Appreciate the super chat, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
KD again, Philadelphia defense or Rams. Oh, versus Rams or Houston defense versus Atlanta.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
gonna go
mm.
Philly here. So what worries me with Houston more so than anything, it's not Houston, it's more so Atlanta side that they just don't throw the ball very much, so that kind of limits your ability to be able to create turnovers and get sacks and stuff like that because of how much they run the football. So that does worry me a little bit with Houston.
I do think the Philly pass rush can definitely get home against the Rams offensive line. So I'm with you. Go Philly here. Although Houston, surprisingly is DST 10 right now on the year. So that is wild.
Alexis, weeks are flying by so fast. Yes, they are. It's already week 5.
Every
And my
year
goodness,
it
it's
happens.
happens every year and just flies by and it's over. I mean, stone cold worst.
Yeah.
Pick 2, Higgins, JT, Kyron, or Sanders.
Oh Lord. I'm gonna go JT and Kyron. I
Don't
just
even hurt
don't know what
any.
to do. I just don't know what to do with that Bengals passing attack. I mean, Burrow was quote unquote a full participant, but he was also taken off the injury list last week. Had just the absolute nut smash matchup and did zilch with it. And then you on top of that you have T Higgins playing through a broken rib apparently. So I feel like if he takes one wrong hit, I mean, like, that's a situation where he gets one target, gets lit up, and then you're done with him for the day. So I just don't want to play that. Sanders, I absolutely hate this matchup going up against Detroit's defense. They have quietly been very good this year. Um, the Carolina Panthers, after being now, obviously these are two different metrics, but last year they were uh, ninth in line yards, and then this year they are 32nd in run block win rate according to ESPN. So I don't want anything to do with that. So just by default, I'm going to go JT and Kyron.
Yeah, I don't think Higgins plays this week. I mean, there's a shot he could, but he didn't practice today, which doesn't really matter. But I don't know. I don't know if he plays, and I don't know if it makes any sense to run him out there. So I don't think he plays. And JT worries me. Like we said, with this matchup is awful for him, but with Miles
Also
Sanders
awful.
also very awful matchup. So I think I probably agree. I would go JT and Kyron. Are we still rocking with Cowboys D against 49ers? Should I pick up the Dolphins? I would have to drop someone like 4 or 8 team league. No, I would just run Cowboys defense
Yeah.
out there. Gabe Davis or Addison at the flex. Addison Goose Egg hurt last week.
Uh, I'd probably just take the shot on Gabe Davis. I mean, I do think that Addison is in an interesting spot here. Um, I, home, they're at home, right? Home dogs at that. I think what the spread is like 5.5 now. I think. So I do I do think there is hope for Addison in this matchup, but just give me Gabe Davis.
Agreed. Gator.
Gator.
Value of Pittman. What? Value of Pittman Kirk or Gabe Davis upgrade at running back.
I think Kirk is the sell high candidate there. So I'd probably look to move him. Pittman obviously coming off a stinker. Gabe Davis. Yeah, if you can find the Gabe Davis fan in your league, that would be a good one to target. So I think if I were you, I'd just put Kirk or Davis up on the trade block and see what I can get. But I think Kirk is the obvious sell high candidate here. Zay Jones did return to practice today, so that could cloud his involvement going forward. But then, like I said, like Gabe Davis is someone who I think a lot of people just are not high on. Probably been snake bitten by him, 2 years in a row now. So I would start with Kirk, or just put up Davis and hope that you have a Gabe Davis stan in your league.
Do you have somebody in mind, like what running back you would want to target?
Lord. I feel like the guys we've been talking about, Javante and Miles Sanders, that's not
Dameon
looking
Pierce,
too.
I think, is an interesting name. He is like top 10 in carries, goal line attempts. Like, I think it's going to get better. The offensive line is going to start to get some of their pieces back, which is funny because when you really think about it, everyone's been complaining about the Giants' offensive line and their injuries and stuff like that. But there is not a team in the league that's had more injuries than the Houston Texans, their offensive line. And look
Four out
how
of
good that
five.
offense has been. So I don't want to
Yeah,
hear it.
yeah.
So, anyways, but yeah, most of their guys should be coming back here relatively soon. A lot of them were placed on IR to start the season. So,
I think you could also try for Kyron Williams as well. Yeah, I mean, if the person who has Kyron is weak at wide receiver, I think that could be a potential match.
I would say Isaiah Pacheco, but I don't know. Like after his last two games, I don't think it's going to cost a little bit more. I think.
That's a good call too.
Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco, yes, has been nice so far to start the year, and he's been a little bit more involved than kind of I think some people thought he was going to be. It's even more so in the passing game. Jose, 8-man, half point PPR, Field, Saquon, Monty Chase, Devonta, Goddard, Puka, bench, Achan. It gets me every time. I try so hard
Yep.
to make sure I say it right. ETN, Hall, Ramondre, Olave, Watson. I have an IR, Kupp, and JT. Would you trade? What trade should I do to get them into my lineup?
Man, I wish there was an easy answer like drop, an extra tight end, or what I mean, drop your extra quarterback, but obviously we don't have that option here. Man, I think I would just try and maybe you sell high on Achan.
He does have a follow up to this. I'm running through with this team. Would you trade Goddard, ETN, Olave, and Hall for Waller, Mixon, and Hollywood Evans? No.
No, I would not do that. Man, that's tough because obviously you're not talking about just freeing up one spot here. We have to free up two. Yeah, I think in an 8-man, especially with JT coming back, like you could potentially just drop Ramondre with kind of how he has, how he's been performing through the first couple of weeks. Then you um still have Saquon, Monty, ETN, Hall. So I think you could just drop Ramondre and then maybe try and package.
Could you just drop Watson too if you really wanted to?
Yeah, I think you could also just do that. Yeah, that's the way that I would attack it.
I mean, if you want to make a trade, I mean, you could. I mean, certainly you could package some of these players together, and even if you wanted to, like, go get a quarterback, right? Include Fields in it. Maybe try to trade up and get like, especially coming off that big week, try to trade for like a Mahomes or somebody like that, and get an upgraded quarterback to free up some of that. If that's I think you could look at that too. So, high risk, low risk, or high upside, high risk, high upside, low risk.
Just completely skip 2 words there.
Yep. Christian Watson or Nico Collins. This is Nico for me.
Nico, baby.
Love to see it. Same person. New question. James Conner or James Cook, non PPR. This is James Cook.
Yeah, James Cook.
Will pick 3 PPR. Joe Mixon, Devon Achan,
There you
Josh
go.
Jacobs, David Montgomery. 2 wide receiver PPR. Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle.
Man.
The last three. Sit Joe Mixon.
Oh boy. I kind of. Man, that's rough. I don't want to sit any of them.
No, and they're all in relatively good spots. It's just Joe Mixon hasn't been good really this year at all, and their offense has been good. And I don't know, like I still have Joe Mixon. You know, he's right. I have him right outside of a top 12 running back, but I have the other three as inside my top 10.
Yeah, that's probably the move. I do think this is going to be a good game for Mixon. No, that's why I'm struggling. I have him. I think one spot above you. I'm the same way. I have the other three ranked ahead of him. Um, so that's probably should have made that I should have made that answer a lot easier. But I do like Mixon this week.
Tyler,
The wide receiver question.
was there a wide receiver? Oh, you're right.
Mhm.
Two wide
Mhm.
receivers. Holy shit. Chase and Waddle.
Jason Waddle for me as well.
Sorry about that, Will. Cody was on it though. Start two: Ridley, Pittman, Waddle, and Lions or Dolphins D.
Pittman and Waddle, and then Lions.
Correct.
Spanish Armada.
Let's go football. What do you guys think? Full point PPR. Nico Collins, Christian Watson, London, or Scary Terry. Did we say how many he needs?
I would rank them Nico, Terry, Watson, London.
I rank them Collins, Watson, Terry, London. I think, yeah. Alexander,
Yep.
we didn't start yet. Is this your first time here, Alexander?
Must be the first time.
We always schedule it for 9:15, and it starts anywhere from 9:15 to like 9:30. Okay, we try to get going at least by 9:30, but things happen. So,
I had to poop.
oh well.
That's
Honesty,
why we're late.
honesty is the best policy. Tyler, chat thoughts.
No?
What up, Ashton?
Springer.
Y'all late, no doubt, Alexander. What's up, guys? How was your day? How was your day, Raylan?
Yeah. Let's hear about your day, Raylan. That was all right.
Oh,
Just
let me tell you
standard.
about my day. Let me start. So I woke up this morning, and then from nobody wants to hear that. Full point, Tank Dell or Khalil?
I'm assuming that's Herbert.
Yeah,
Give me Tank.
yeah. I'm gonna go.
I don't want to chase points from Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, yeah. Ronnie, what's up, Ronnie? Thoughts on Brock Purdy against Dallas defense? I think San Francisco's O line is banged up. Uh,
Ronnie, if you're still rocking with us, let us know if you have any other options. I think he'll be fine, but let us know what other options you might have. I think he
yes,
is what he is,
I
right?
have Purdy outside of my top. I have him outside of my top 12. I have him at 15. So, I don't think he's a terrible option, but I mean, if you might have something else better. Are firing up JT this week or wait till next week? I think it really depends on who you have, Raylan. At the end of the day, because obviously you went this far without him. So, and this isn't the matchup to start him. Like this just isn't. It's a really
No.
bad matchup against the Titans. Can he get there? Yes. He's Jonathan Taylor. He's one of the explosive running backs of the league. He could always bust off a long touchdown run. He could be more involved in the passing game. Like there's ways he could get there. It's just not a great matchup. So Alexa, I
So
remember when we had
real quick, I just scrolled to the bottom to see how far behind we are, and Ronnie is still rocking with us. Said I was thinking of picking up Sam Howell.
I'm fine with that. I would play Sam Howell over Purdy.
Yeah.
I remember we had single digit viewers in the live. That has never happened, Alexis. We've always been out here rocking with thousands of viewers in the chat. So, I mean, people, this is the premier place to get all your fantasy questions answered. So, I don't think that's ever happened. All right, I know. We appreciate you, Alexis, for rocking with us
This
for as long
long.
as I always appreciate the 46 questions we get from you every chat to start at the beginning. We just know it's going to be there. So, if you don't one day, I'm going to be concerned. We're going to send out a search party to try to find you.
All the way up in Canada.
Well, we got Walito. Walito can go look for him.
It's not gonna be
Speaking of
useful.
Walito, he's been slacking in being in
He
our
has
chat.
been, man. I was thinking about that the other day too.
TX, Khalil Herbert or Thackeray Moss.
I will go Herbert
Yes.
on this one.
Especially if JT comes back.
Yeah.
TX, Drake London, Zay Flowers, or Pickens. I'm going to go Zay Flowers.
Zay.
You think it's going to be Mitchell Trubisky week, or you think old Kenny Pickett's going to drag his leg out there?
Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter.
And then you got Matt Canada out here with his burner account.
Did you also see the report? Like, I think it was like 2 weeks ago that it was like, you know, that Canada was going to be more hands-on with Kenny Pickett. Like, what the fuck have we been doing? Like, not that I think that would be that was going to solve anything, but what's been happening? If you're not working with your quarterback as the OC, like, what are we doing?
I don't understand why he still has a job. This offense has been so bad. Not just 1 year. We're talking about multiple years. He's been bad. I mean, he was around when Big Ben was still there.
Yeah.
Like he's been bad. Let him go.
Yeah.
Raylan.
Bring back Mike Tomzak.
Do something. Anything better than this. Stash Chuba or Ronnie Rivers this week, PPR. I'd probably stash Chuba.
I'll go Chuba. Yeah.
Ayuk or Puka rest of season, PPR or Puka.
Okay.
I'm not all that concerned with the return of Cooper Kupp. I still think this role is going to be very secure for Puka. Kirk or Hopkins? I'm going to go Kirk. Truth teller. Right now, I got Swift and Brian Robinson, RB1, RB2, Brees at flex. Should I switch any with Taylor coming back? But I don't know if he's going to get the full workload. Stevenson, Dotson, Tank. No, leave it at that.
Yep.
I think that is the optimal approach that you have there.
Yep. Love Brees this week, by the way.
Yeah. Last one, DST. Washington, Detroit, or Nolans?
Detroit.
We agree. Joe? Sup, guys? Sup, Joe?
Hello, Joe.
Rank 4 rest of season. Raylan, you didn't include the rest. Did we miss it? Is there more? Oh, there it is. I'll jump down for you, Raylan. Rank 4 rest of season PPR. Henry, Achan, Jacobs, or Kamara. So this is going to be Jacobs, Kamara, Henry, and Achan. I could easily have Achan, though, second.
Jacobs has not been good on the ground.
He was last week. He finally got it together, which I think on some level, like maybe we should have expected it, considering he sat out all of training camp and preseason and missed all of it. And so, kind of knocking off some of that rust and getting himself right. Because the usage has been there. Like his usage is absolutely incredible.
I'm gonna go Jacobs, Achan, Kamara, and Henry.
Well, it's because you hate Derrick Henry. Zane, start or stack Mostert and Achan or swap one out for Pierce. I would swap out Mostert for Pierce.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, we've seen both of them go off before, but yeah.
Something to pay attention to. I didn't see exactly what it was, or if it's anything, if it was just rest, but it was reported that Mostert was not at um, excuse me, Mostert was not at practice today. So, like I said, I don't know if that was just a veteran rest day. I don't know if he has any sort of injury, and obviously it's Wednesday, so we don't necessarily care about the injury report anyway. But still, just something to monitor that could just make that choice easier. But I would swap out Mostert regardless.
Yeah.
I mean,
Joe,
Fields.
this is gonna be Fields for me as well. Reneel, what's up, guys? I traded St. Brown and Ford for Olave and Flowers. Thoughts? Don't love it. I just don't love giving up Amon-Ra St. Brown. I guess that's really the sticking point for me. Jerome Ford, I think is fine either way. He's been not efficient at all, but he has been really involved in the passing game. But matchups also haven't been great either for Jerome Ford. But it's just trading away Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is just going to be he's just locked into a really solid target share. It doesn't really matter to me that Jameson Williams coming back. It's not going to change anything for Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I obviously love Chris Olave too, and I love Zay Flowers, but I would have rather have had the ASB side of this.
Yeah, me too. I don't think like you
Oh,
got
no, it's not a bad
completely
trade.
crushed on. Yes, it's not a bad trade. I would just have preferred, like you said, Kev, to keep St. Brown. It doesn't necessarily look like you like needed like just if I saw this, I would think like you needed some wide receiver help. But I mean, you have Keenan Allen on your bench. You obviously had Smitty there as well. I would have preferred to keep Sam Brown, but like I said, I don't think you got you're not going to get dunked on for this trade or anything.
And then should I start with Flowers or Warren the flex? I'm gonna go Zay.
Flowers.
You guys like Kyron even against Philly. So we talked. I talked about this. It's not a good matchup on the ground. Philadelphia has been elite against running backs on the ground, but they have been had through the air. They've allowed the 12th most receptions and the 12th most receiving yards to running backs so far to start the season. So Kyron is obviously heavily involved in the passing game. I think if he's going to get there, that's how he's going to get there, is going to be through the air. Of course, he could sneak one in on the goal line, something like that. But overall, he's probably going to have to get there on the ground or through the air rather than on the ground, which is something that he's been able to do. So I don't love the matchup, like I said, but you know, I think he's fine. A middling RB2 this week.
Yeah, with your options, Kyron makes the most sense.
Is McLaurin safe to start on a weekly basis again?
I mean, he'll be in that mid wide receiver 2 to like high wide receiver 3. Like I wouldn't look at what he did last week and just think, okay, you know, locked in week to week. But this week is a good matchup for him. I talked about him on the wide receiver ranking video that we dropped. If you have yet to see it, go check it out. But I do like him, but I don't think that you're just blindly starting him going forward.
First Twitch question. Brady, need help. I have JT. Should I trade Kittle and Pollard for Kelsey and Zach Moss? No. Don't get me wrong. You're getting an upgrade with Travis Kelsey, but Zach Moss's job is about to be gone. So that's somebody that's trying to fleece you and give you Zach Moss with JT coming back. I know you
It's
have JT. I get that, and so you probably have that concern of if the Colts trade him or something like that, that you could have. Like I get that, but there's no guarantee anything that happens. So Moss doesn't really is it. And I hate having bench spots taken up by cuffs, especially this early in the year. Once you get to November and stuff like that, sure, you can start looking at handcuffs and all that kind of stuff. But right now, it's a little less. It's something that I want to do. And Tony Pollard, I think even better. I mean, he hasn't even been Tony Pollard like he was last year, and those days are coming for him. And so, like, he's still been
yeah.
really good. It's just not been like these super explosive weeks that he's typically had. And so, I think even better days are ahead for Tony Pollard. And with how scarce the running back position is in terms of just that high end talent, like Tony Pollard, like Christian McCaffrey, like those guys are right now, I don't want to move on from those guys if I have.
Yeah, it's too far of a drop from Pollard to Moss. Like, even if this were like 2 weeks ago, you know what I mean? Moss was still having like the job. I still wouldn't have done that.
I asked for Gibbs and or White instead of Moss, and he said no. Well, then I would just keep it moving because, I just don't think you need to. I don't think you're like Kelsey's not going to be some huge separator for you, right? And I think you're going to end up hurting by losing Tony Pollard more than you're gaining.
Yeah.
Uncle Ted, what's up, Uncle Ted? Start
Uncle T.
McLaughlin ASAP. Raylan,
I
I am a secondary Rams fan now because of Puka, and Stafford's looked great. Would love to know y'all's take on Puka and Kupp rest of the season together. Like I said, I think Puka's going to be fine. Like, is he going to be getting these games where he gets 15, 20 targets? No, but that was never
no.
been expected anyway. But he is real. Like, this isn't some fluke of a situation. Yes, when Kupp comes back, he is going to be involved, but I think it could actually be a good thing for Puka because it's going to make teams, you can't just focus on him and try to take him away because now you have Cooper Kupp, and all the attention is going to be coming to Cooper Kupp. So all that is going to be there. And like we talked about, like Puka was never Cooper Kupp. Like he was much more in the Robert Woods role, like whatever Robert Woods was there, and which is a very lucrative role. And so I think rest of season, and it's hard to trust is Cooper Kupp going to be healthy all the rest of the season, right? This is a soft tissue injury. These things tend to ramp back up or show themselves again. So I would still lean Puka over Kupp rest of the season. Another Twitch question. I think Pierce lacks talent, to be honest, but you can definitely blame the O line. Like, I
He's fine.
yeah,
You like Pierce because of his volume or potential volume. Like, we haven't seen it this year. That's because they've been trailing a bunch, and the O line is definitely a huge problem. I mean, they're missing 4/5 of their starters. Now they should get Titus Howard back this week. They're still missing Laramie Tunsil. Juice Scruggs could come back as well. And then their other guard, whose name is escaping me, has also been out. So, um, I mean, there's a reason why Pierce was a fourth round uh, draft pick, right? So, he doesn't. He's not going to be the most talented, but in that situation, like especially with how good, like we were already talking about, with how good Stroud has looked. If that offensive line can get right and they can start having some more positive / neutral game scripts, he's definitely going to bounce back.
yeah. I mean, the last couple of weeks, Pierce hasn't been awful, but it's mainly because he's found the end zone. But like, I think Pierce is a good running back. Like he's not great by any means, but I think he's good. His numbers last year were really good. The offense last year, like his efficiency numbers were excellent. And so obviously he got hurt later in the year, but yes, I think Dameon Pierce is fine. But I think asking him to run behind this offensive line is also a joke. So
Yeah.
Javonte Boomwick was ruined by injury. Yes, it was. Yes, it sadly was, and super early in the game too. And I had a lot of Javonte Williams in DFS, so that didn't go well either. But and it was weird too because like when you watched it, it was like, what happened? Like he was just like it didn't look like anything crazy. But I'll say like his ACL injury last year was neat. Like I was like, oh, that didn't look that bad. He should be fine. And then all of a sudden, like, no, he's out for the year. Like the injury last year he had didn't look bad either. But I
Yeah.
don't know. But it was best case scenario. I mean, a hip flexor isn't anything super serious, so it's nothing to really be all concerned with. I think at most if he does miss this week, it'll probably just be this week and he'll be back. So
Yeah.
Jim, Brees Hall and Wandale Robinson for Michael Thomas and Raheem Mostert at 14 team league. I want the Brees Hall and Wandale Robinson side all day.
Yeah. Give me the best player. I think Brees Hall has the highest ceiling out of that group rest of the season.
And we did get the old report from Robert Sala that the limiting of Brees Hall is no more. That they're expected to, which I mean, I would too if I were you because Dalvin Cook is booty. Uncle Ted Peyton will get the most PPR value out of McLaughlin of any coach. Yeah, very possible. I mean, we kind of talked about him a little bit. I mean, the dude, set an NCAA record with 8,000 rushing yards and 79 touchdowns in his college career. Kind of ridiculous, but yeah, I mean, and like I talked about, like in the preseason, he was really good in the preseason. He was productive, and I think even when Javonte is healthy and back, like I think he is the number 2 running back now. I think Samaje P. Ryan's role is going to get diminished and more diminished because Samaje P. Ryan has been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I am 3-1, half point PPR. I got Waddle and Adams at wide receiver, Pollard and Swift at running back. Who should I flex, DJ Moore or Kamara? I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Kamara on this one.
I'm gonna go with DJ Moore. Give me DJ Moore. Sorry we couldn't help you there, Dim.
Not good at fantasy. Andrews definite start over Laporta regardless of matchup.
Yeah, I mean you're probably rolling out if you have both. You're probably rolling out Andrews over Laporta week in and week out. But they are close enough that I would want to sell the name value of Andrews and just roll with Laporta.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have Sam Laporta at tight end 4 this week, so
welcome. We've been
I've been
waiting
here.
for you.
I've been here. Don't say welcome to me. Now I will grant it. You have been the conductor of the Sam Laporta train, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to try to be like CHB and the Rashad Penny thing, and give myself the credit for that. But you have definitely been on board. You definitely been the conductor, but I'm riding in the back seat. Just Raylan, if you guys haven't yet liked the stream, do so. Correct that. That's all we ask.
Thanks for doing our job for us, Raylan.
Yep. And if you haven't already and you're new here, hit that subscribe button. That also helps. We are trying to get to 5K before the end of the month. And I think we're like 200 away. So any help to get us there will be greatly appreciated. We're trying to hit that 5K. Joe, you really don't need them. I'd trade them off.
Who knows what that was about? Yeah, that was...
Sorry, I'm reading some of them. Brady, need help. I have JT. Should I trade?
That was from Twitch.
Oh, should I trade Kittle and Pollard for Kelsey and
That was from Twitch.
What was?
We already answered this. It was the Twitch question.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought you were saying that the question he was answering was from Twitch.
No.
Thoughts? Chase and Pollard for JJ and Jacob, PPR. Oh, so that's just Jefferson, right? I'm assuming. Yeah. If that's just, I want the just Jefferson side.
Yeah, give me Jefferson.
Let's see. Anime. What's up, Anime? What is better app for fantasy in your guys' opinion? NFL Fantasy app or something like ESPN Fantasy? Just wondering, the leagues of the NFL app do not seem active. I think the best, I don't know. Like I've used ESPN for years. I have no problem with it. But I think it depends on the type of league that you have, because if you're just talking about like a really casual league, like where you're just wanting like a normal PPR setup, like ESPN is fine. I think ESPN is clean and stuff like that. But I will say Sleeper, if you're not familiar with it, is growing. I think now it's like the number 1 fantasy app store as well. But Sleeper, I think, is also really good. Sometimes I don't love the navigation for it. Is frustrating sometimes, but overall, I still think Sleeper is really good. I think Yahoo is my least favorite. But I know there's other people that swear by Yahoo Fantasy too.
The NFL app is probably my least favorite. Yahoo would be next. The problem is the Sleeper app looks the best by far. Like it looks the best, but like you said, like trying to navigate it sometimes is an absolute pain in the dick. Like the other day, I was looking around for the chat the whole time, and it was blocked by a fucking banner. I couldn't find it. So that's it definitely looks the best. It's the most popular, but it's not my favorite if I'm playing on an app.
Yeah. I know a lot of people hate on ESPN. I don't really know why. Like,
I
but
don't
like,
get it
I
either.
guess, I guess you're wanting more functionality and like different like certain things. Like, you're probably not going to run a dynasty league from ESPN, right? Like, it just probably doesn't
Yeah.
offer enough for you to be able to run a true dynasty league from it. But like I said, for just a regular redraft league, I think ESPN's fine. Leon, defense, New England, Houston, Indy, Green Bay. Um,
If Derek Carr is going to look like he did last week, just give me New England.
yeah, I
I would
agree.
have New England first and then Houston second.
Fred, should I start Kirk or Stroud?
Give me Kirk in a bounce back spot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think pace is going to be up in that game. You're playing the Chiefs. You're going to have to throw the ball a lot. I mean, I think it lines up much better to play Kirk. TX, Watson or Jahan Dotson, full PPR. I'm going to go with Watson here.
Yeah.
Zarvon, worried about Olave with the Derek Carr situation. Start him or DJ Moore. I'm still going to go with Olave, but
I would go DJ Moore in this situation. Like unless we hear something that like Derek Carr is a full participant, if we get a report like that on like Friday or something, then I think you could go back to Olave, but that was ugly last week. So if we hear that he's going to be limited in any capacity or like he's feeling better but it's still not 100%, then I would go DJ Moore.
facts. Trade Ramondre Stevenson, Goddard for Brees Hall. Who would you have at tight end? That would be my question. Because I actually think I would take this. Like, I really want to get on the Brees Hall before he explodes bandwagon
Yes.
because I think it's coming, and we've seen he looks explosive, right? Like, there's not a lot of question about like his cutting issues or anything like that. Like I said, he is top 3 in juke rate among all running backs right now. His yards per play or yards per yards per play is, I think it's top 5. I don't have my notes up in front of me, but yes, like there's a lot to like with Brees Hall, and so like I don't mind making that trade. Ramondre Stevenson's looked awful, and then Goddard, but like I would just be curious what would you be doing at tight end? I guess that's the question. But yeah, I have no problem with making that trade. Dominique, I have Waller and Schultz on my team. Who should I start? I'm going to go Waller.
Ugh. Yeah, I would go Waller here too. It's closer than what it should be, but we'll go Waller.
Luis, PPR, RB1, RB2, Bijan and Pollard. Wide receiver 1 and 2 is Pollard and CD. Flex, Mixon, have Kupp and Connor on my bench. Would y'all run with this or change things up if Kupp plays? Thanks for y'all's hard work. I'm here for the support. I appreciate you, Luis.
I think I would keep it as is for this week because with Cup coming back, like I can't imagine with how obviously we've seen Puka absolutely ball out in his absence, but Cooper Cup is still very important to this team's long term situation, right? I can't imagine he comes back from this thing that's been lingering since the offseason and they just throw him into a full complement of snaps if he does play this week. I think we see that kind of be ramped up. I think they take it easy with him. So, and I like I said at the beginning of the show, I do like this spot for Mixon. As inefficient as he has been, he somehow ended up putting up his best week against arguably one of the toughest run defenses in the league last week. So I would keep it as is. I would keep Cup and Connor on the bench.
We're not going to be as useful for you, Luis, because I would actually bench Olave for Kupp.
Yes. Okay.
Because I feel like if Cubs
I was
plays,
just
then
gonna say
he
that.
is good to go. And because there's no way they're going to rush him back. And so, like, if he plays, I feel good enough that the situation that he's going to be in and the way Stafford has looked, that I just can't pass up So I would bench Olave for Cooper Cup, and I keep mixing. Ashton, start running back and flex. Kyron, Brees, Christian Watson, London. I'm gonna go first two. I mean, if you want to go
I'm
Christian Watson,
gonna
then
go
if I
Brees and
did that,
Watson.
I would sit Kyron for Watson.
Brees and Watson. Yeah.
Where were we at?
Come on, dog. I jumped down because thought that would keep you up here.
Oh, right here. Squeaky clean. Does Kyron play? Yes, it sounds like he's expected to play. They held him out of practice today, but he is expected to play this week. So I don't think you have anything to worry about there. Vision. I got offered Chris Olave and Rashad White for Josh Jacobs. Should I take it?
What would the
No.
rest of your if you need the wide receiver help, I would like this to me is just Olave for Jacobs, right? Like I'm not really considering Rashad White as part of this deal. Um, it would depend on what running back you have behind Jacobs and if you really need that Olave help. In a vacuum, I probably want to keep Jacobs, but depending on what your RB situation is after that, I think you could potentially consider it.
Yeah. Alexander, how do you guys feel about Aaron Jones? I have him in Swift as my running back, traded CD and bench players to get him and Pat. I feel like I need to make a move for another running back. I think he's fine. You have to remember, we've talked about this a couple times now. The Detroit Lions that they just faced last week is one of the best run defenses in the league. They have only allowed 46 rushing yards per game to the position. Like they have been really, really good. And so against the opposing running backs. And so that is something you should definitely be keeping in mind when this. I think Aaron Jones is fine. We don't have to worry about AJ Dillon because AJ Dillon is terrible. And so as long as Aaron Jones can stay healthy, like he's in a really good spot here. And so I think you're good to go. I think at worst he's a high end RB2, but I think by the end of the season he's going to be out RB1. But I think you're fine
Somehow,
with
some
him.
way, he always gets there.
Yeah. Leon need two running backs, one flex, PPR, ETN, Kyron, Bryce Hall, or Brees Hall, Bryce, Gibbs, or Ridley. The two running backs I'm going to go with is ETN, and I'm going to go with Brees.
Yep.
And then at the flex, I'm going to go Calvin Ridley.
I'm gonna go Ridley too.
Did we answer this already? Worried
Yeah.
about Olave with Derek Carr
Yep.
situation. Start him. Yeah.
Bring it down to Leon.
Goff or Howe?
I'll go Goff on this one.
Yeah, I think so too. I kind of want to go with Sam Howell because of the matchup, but Jared Goff and at home is too good to pass up.
Yeah. And it's not like Goff's matchup is bad. Carolina looks better on paper than what they are.
Yeah. Chandler, start Fields or Cousin or Stroud, 6-point passing touchdown.
Fields.
Yeah, I agree. Lord help us. Uncle Ted, Heineke is 1,000 times better of a quarterback than Ritter. I don't think you're denying that, but I don't really know what they're doing. I guess they're seeing what they got in him. I mean, I really would love if they just fired Arthur Smith too, like fire him into the sun because
Yeah.
when you have the weapons that they have, there's no reason that they should be doing things the way and like his like condescending responses, like he's just so much smarter than everybody else, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh well, you're like one of the very few guys in the league that run your offense the way that you do. It's weird that you're terrible. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, you must know more than everybody else.
He's Chip Kelly with a mustache, is what he is.
It's true. Like that. True tell.
Thanks. Just thought of it. Just came to me.
You dropping any of these guys for some of the guys on waiver? I got Akers, Hunt, Judy. Waiver guys for Jameson Williams, McLaughlin, or Michael Wilson, Tyler Boyd. So yes, I would drop Kareem Hunt like
For
now
Williams.
for if you want to do it for Williams, that's fine. Yep. And then if you want to drop Akers, honestly, I think you could do it for McLaughlin if you want to.
I think I'd rather hold Akers for now. We do like McLaughlin for sure, but once Javante comes back, he's going to be in a number two role, right? Where like I could see, I think there's a better chance of Akers taking over Madison than there is McLaughlin taking over Javante outside of an injury.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. And then with Michael Wilson, I like Michael Wilson a lot as an ad, but I want the other guys over him. And it
Yeah,
is there's been a lot of talk today about Carolina, I guess, in the market for a number one wide receiver for Bryce Young. But I'm like, well, you should have drafted a different quarterback because Bryce Young's terrible. So it's only 4 games. I probably shouldn't make that assumption after 4 games, but there's nothing about Bryce Young that has looked good so far. Like they should be, if they really cared about winning, they would just put Andy Dalton back there. Raylan, my day was good. Woke up, hit some pancakes, and made pancakes. Good for you, Raylan. Again,
getting old. I
do
don't
it
know what
again.
that means.
Appreciate it. Like the stream if you like getting your questions answered. Hell yeah, Raylan. Appreciate that.
Thanks, buddy.
Eric, Gibbs or Khalil Herbert, PPR. I'm gonna go with Khalil Herbert.
Oh God. I think that probably is a safer option because I think this is another game that has Dave Montgomery 30 carries written all over it, right? Like I think to feel better about Gibbs, it has to be a situation where you see them trailing or at least in a non or a neutral to negative type of game script. If they have a positive game script, it's going to be, like I said, another Monty 20 to 30 rush type of game.
You know what's crazy too? If you look at their schedule, tell me the games you think that they could realistically be trailing in. Just really quickly. Carolina this week, no. Tampa Bay, no.
Neutral.
I mean neutral. Baltimore at Baltimore, okay. That one, yeah. The Raiders, probably not. At the Chargers, yeah, maybe. But then after that, you got Chicago, no. Green Bay, no. At New Orleans, probably not. Chicago again. Denver, at Minnesota,
God.
at Dallas. At Dallas might be the next one, and that's the fantasy playoffs. Like, there is a ton of really positive game script games in here for David Montgomery. So it is football. I mean, anything can happen. I shouldn't. It's not like it's a lock, but I'm just saying, like they should be the favorite in most of those games. I'm the best Canadian viewer, obviously. Yeah. And Ashton, dude, I don't know if you remember this. I know we talked about it last year about making you a moderator. Like I tried to, but like your name wouldn't come up. Now, if you hopefully you're still in here, Ashton. But like I think I reached out to you, told you to reach out to me. I don't know if you ever did, but I can add you as moderator because that's what's supposed to be Walito's job is to be our moderator. And I haven't seen him in forever, so he's pretty much fired.
Hasn't been here. Yeah.
Yeah. Emilio, Pittman, Garrett Wilson, or Watson at wide receiver 2. I'm gonna go with Pittman.
Pittman.
Because I have him just out. All right. No, we have him as a wide receiver 1 this week. Eric again. CJ Stroud
Lord.
or Burrow. This is going to be Stroud. If you would have
Yeah.
told me before the season, this era would have been a situation that I would have said not Burrow. But this year has been wild.
And not only said not Burrow, but said it quickly and convinced, with conviction. I think it's Stroud too until we see that team turn around.
Even more so, if you would have told me before the season started that Burrow was going against the Cardinals, and I was going to say no. Leon, Philly or Lions D? I'm going to go Lions here. Great question here. Trung, Calvin Austin or Robert Woods?
Give me Bobby Trees.
Yeah, probably. I'd probably go Robert Woods. Anime. Should I bench Debo for Waddle and roll out
Yes.
Waddle, Pittman, and Puka this week?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Sport Dog. I'm facing the first place team 4-0 in my 8-team PPR league. Running back choices are Ramondre, Aaron Jones, James Cook, and Brian Robson. Going with my only tight end, Sam Laporte. Love to see it. This is a tough week for me. I don't know how many running backs you need here, but I would rank it Brian
Right.
Robinson, James Cook,
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, and then a very distant Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah. Yeah. So in reverse order of how you have them listed, Sport Dog.
Yeah. Receivers are Allen and Amon St. Brown, DJ Moore. Running backs are Aaron Jones and Swift / Zach Moss. Quarterback is Mahomes. I need to win this league. Would y'all make a move for a better running back like Brian Robinson or Pacheco? No. So your running backs are fine. Like DeAndre Swift has been awesome. Aaron Jones is going to have better weeks ahead. And I don't think you have a strong enough, like, I'm not seeing your bench, but like, I don't know if you have a strong enough group, like, to make that happen right now. Because Brian Robinson isn't going to be cheap because of how well he's played. Checo's coming off two of his best weeks where he scored 16 and 25 PPR points. That is never a time you want to try to buy somebody, is when they're coming off big games, because people have recency bias. And so I would not. Like, I think the best thing you could do is just continually, as long as you're not like 0 and 4 or something like that, is to just continue to work the waiver wire. Like, we just, and I'm not trying to, like, I guess push our own content, but like, go check out like the deep league, if you haven't already, the deep league video we did, or that I put together. There's a lot of running backs in there that I think you can turn through. And that's what I would be looking to do. Instead of holding on to players on your bench that you probably would never start, I'm more apt to go try to pick up a Emery DeMarcado or a Keyshawn Vaughn, or if you're looking for running
McLaughlin.
backs, guys like that, Chris Rodriguez, like guys that could end up being like a home run if something were to happen, then creating other issues by making trades for a running back that may end up opening up other holes on your team. I don't know what your bench looks like at this point, but with this team, like, I don't think you have a lot of room. I mean, obviously Keenan Allen and Amon-Ra is fantastic, but I think your running backs are okay.
Yeah. It also depends on how deep your starting lineups are as well. Yeah, that would also play a factor into this one, because if it's just like 2 and 2, a tight end and like one flex, like I think you're fine. But if it's deeper than that, then I think you could. But like Kev was saying, depending on what your bench is, you probably want to look at, it would have to be like a 2 for 1, because if it's not like a 2 for 1 type deal, you're likely just going to create a hole at receiver for trying to go and get a better right back.
TX, Javonta, London, Warren, or Spears?
Oh, if Javante plays, I'll go Javante. If not, I'm going to go London. I don't think it's going to be a Spears week, because I don't think that they're going to be trailing in this game for Spears to see the type of opportunity that you would want in a spot where you're looking to start him. Um, I think there is a scenario out there where Houston pushes this Atlanta offense to have to throw a little bit more than they want to. London is never a lock for anything with the way this offense is constructed, but yeah, I would rank them in the order that you listed them, TX.
Last fish in the pond. Love to see you here. One of my favorite questions of the week. Week 5 survivor pool, baby. Thoughts on Detroit, Washington, or Miami? Washington, Chicago is one I would just take off the board because I don't feel comfortable on that side either way. So I'm not doing a survivor pool with that. I think where I would feel the most comfortable is Miami and Detroit. But if you're really just, trying to keep the chains moving, I think I would just go Miami. But
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll through to see if there's any like gross teams that I would feel comfortable with. I don't want to use Miami just yet.
then I would just
Um,
go Detroit because I think this is a gross matchup too. I mean, Carolina, I'm not all that concerned with, especially with Bryce Young.
no, I was trying. I guess I meant like some lower type teams, because obviously we're fans of Detroit around here. I was trying to see if there were some lower teams that might be in a good spot, but I'm not seeing any that I would feel comfortable
Maybe
going with.
Baltimore.
So I think it's possible, but it's still a divisional game, and Tomlin somehow ends up pulling out wins, and in these types of situations. Even with Trubisky, I think Baltimore should win, but I don't want to take them on the road in a divisional matchup. Detroit, Rock City.
I'm with you. I've got Swift, ETN, James Cook, and Hall. Which two are you starting? ETN for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go ETN and Swift.
Man, I really want to get Hall in there, but I think it is the better play to go Swift over Hall. It's really close though.
Colts are currently carrying Goff and Purdy in one quarterback league with bye weeks and on week 9. So I drop one for the quarterback: Howell, Prescott, Jones, Dobbs, Wilson for a few others available to try and trade. If that many players are available in your league, especially in a one quarterback league, you can just drop your quarterback. Drop Purdy and just move on. Like you don't need to worry about
Yeah.
bye weeks for week 9, right? Injuries happen, all kinds of things happen. If you have that many players sitting out there available, then it's not really a concern that you'll be able to make this decision week 9. Don't waste a roster spot on this right now.
Correct.
If you want to, like, I'm fine with doing it if you have the ability to be able to do it. Like being proactive and picking up the week prior or something like that. I'm fine with doing that instead of having to put it on like a waiver or anything like that. Try to get your guy that you want. But other than that, like not this far out. Week 9 is still quite a bit of ways away. So many things could change. There's no reason to waste a roster spot on that position. So on a onesie league.
Yeah.
Back to Twitch. Should I keep Burrow at this point? I mean, I don't know what you're. I mean, I don't think you can drop him. So, yeah, I think you have to.
Can't trade him either. Can't win with him. Can't do it.
Raylan. Every time I hear that name, I think of. Have you ever seen the show? I forgot who I'm talking about. I'm talking to you. You never. You don't watch shows, but Justified. The lead character's name is Raylan.
Nope.
Raylan Givens. And so every time I see it, it makes me think of it. Anyway, flex DJ Moore or Zay Flowers. I'm gonna go DJ Moore on this one.
Let's go DJ Moore.
Cody.
Let's go.
Yes, you can say my name however you want.
Lizaraga.
Oh. No, I remember. 12-team PPR. Stroud, Barkley, Kyron, Nico, Puka, Brown, Ertz, Lions. How am I looking? I have Cooper Kupp. Do I start him?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's wild? If you would have shown some of this team like at the beginning of the year, you'd be like, yeah, you're fucked. Like with this team. But like now in week 5, I'm like, I like this team. Like, Nico's been a baller. Puka's been a baller. I'm assuming that's AJ Brown, so that is a very good option to have as well. Barkley back. Kyron's been really good. Like, I don't think it's bad.
Yeah, I like this team a lot. With having Kupp, Puka, and Kyron, I would be looking to move one of them. It seems like you probably need the help at running back, so I would put Puka and Kupp on your, on your trade block and just take the best trade that you can get for whoever it is. That I just want. I don't want to. I wouldn't want to be putting Puka on the bench every week in favor of Kupp. I don't want to start all three. So I wouldn't want to even if you didn't have Kyron, I wouldn't necessarily want to start Kupp and Puka in the same lineup. So I'd probably be looking to move on from one of those receivers. I wouldn't do it at any cost. I wouldn't just take, if someone tries to lowball you because of the situation that you're in, I wouldn't take just any old trade. But if you can get like somewhat equal value to one of those receivers, I'd look to move one of them just because I would not want to be rolling out 3 Rams every single week.
Or I think you could also look to like package if you wanted to Kyron and like Puka if you wanted to, right? Or Cup for that matter. Probably Cup, just because I think that injury still worries me with the soft tissue injury and all that stuff. So like you could probably take both of
Yeah,
them, and with their still with having Nico, Puka, and AJ Brown, which I mean you've gotten to the point where you are now without Cooper Cup. So you take both of them, and I think you could really do some damage and trade up for a really strong like RB1 option, like somebody that is more reliable. Like I'm talking like a Tony Pollard type, or you might even be able to go get like a Bijan Robinson, maybe in that realm of player that you could get. I don't think you're going to be able to get Christian McCaffrey because he's just been out of this world. But like a Bijan, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, I think you could definitely go and get with that package for sure. And so maybe that is something you look to do as well and really solidify your team.
yeah.
Anime, what are we doing with Darren Waller? Fucking Holden is what we're doing. Like it's hard to. I- It's not even really Darren Waller's fault. Like it's like I don't really know what exactly they're doing, but he's been dreadful. I mean, he really only has the game week 2 where he had 6 for 76. It's just been they've just gotten their asses kicked almost every single game, and like they're spreading the ball around. He doesn't have any time to throw the football. It's a shame, but I also don't think you can just drop him or anything like that. Like I don't think that is something you can do. I think you just hold, and I think eventually they're going to get this thing figured out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then should I drop him and stream or keep him? Yeah, I'm keeping him. Julian, which 3 running backs do I start? ETN, HN, James Cook, Kyron Williams, Brees Hall, and
Yikes.
Jonathan Taylor. First of all, Julian, this is a hell of a group of running backs that you have here.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm starting ETN, Achan, and Brees.
Yep.
Generation X makes me think of DX, and I got 2 words for you. Fit at wide receiver. Edwards, Boyd, Samuel, Dell, Pickens, Rice, or Mims for flex this week. It really should be Gus Edwards with the matchup that they have, but I can't do it. I'm going to go with Debo Samuel, assuming that's Debo Samuel.
Yeah, assuming that's Debo, I'll go Debo. If that is Curtis, then I would go Dell.
Yep. Completely agree. Zane, Khalil Herbert, Ramondre, or Mostert, 12 team full PPR. This is going to be Khalil Herbert.
Oh. It's just so frustrating with not frustrating, it's hard to buy in that what we saw like from the snap rate. You know, because like literally leading up to that game, we were getting reports that it's going to become much more of a 50-50 split. Could be a week where Roshan overtakes Khalil Herbert, and then Herbert comes out and just absolutely dominates the touches and the snaps and everything else, right? I think the matchup is there, so I'll go Herbert too, but it scares me.
Daniel. Start 2. Pollard, Jones, Swift, James Cook. I'm going to go Pollard and Swift.
Pollard and Swift.
Joe, I have Pierce. I'm holding. He will get it going.
Agree.
Yes, I think he will too. Booty Warrior. Let's go, Booty. You haven't been in here for at least in a minute. Love your name. I say it every time. Great
Booty
name.
rocking everywhere.
Nico Collins or Calvin Ridley, full point PPR in the flex.
Booty, who are your wide receivers that you can't start both of these guys? I mean, if I had to pick one, I feel like such a fucking donkey going back to Calvin Ridley after the past 3 weeks, but Neha. I'm gonna go Calvin Ridley here again.
Yeah, I think I agree.
They're really close in our rankings. I think they're maybe like 2 or 3 spots apart. If memory serves.
Did we already answer this one?
Yep.
AP. What's up, AP? Mostert, Madison, or Sanders this week for my RB2. I'm going to go with Madison on this.
Yeah, Madison for me as well.
I have Henry for my RB1. My wide receivers are Jefferson, Devonta Smith, and Waddle.
Good for you, AP.
Chris, what's up, guys? I need to flex Addison, Dell, Jameson, or Javonte Williams. I'm going to
I'm
go
gonna
with
go
Tank Dell here.
Addison.
What'd you say?
Addison.
Okay. Sorry, Chris. I am
Sorry,
going
Chris.
with Tank Dell here.
This is what I was laughing at.
Looking forward to it with Ridley. 14 team PPR league with Keenan, Nico, and D Hop. I think I could get Hollywood or Garrett Wilson. Also, you start Richardson or Fields.
Fields, and I'm keeping Ridley. I know it hasn't been great the past couple of weeks, but I would much rather rock with a Trevor Lawrence led offense than Josh Dobbs or Zach Wilson.
I'm going to go with Anthony Richardson here at quarterback. And then, yeah, I'm not trading Calvin Ridley for Hollywood Brown or Garrett Wilson at this point.
Yeah. And if you do want to move on from him, big red belly, you got to wait until he puts up some production. Now's not the time to try and move off of him.
Yeah. Lamar or Tua this weekend? I'm going Lamar. Though it's much closer than you would think. I actually have Lamar 4, I believe, and Tua at 5. So it is very close, but I would go Lamar here.
Yeah.
Jonathan, would you guys trade Khalil Herbert and Drake London for Lamar and Josh Palmer? I'm 1-3, 12 point PPR, 12-person league half point PPR. Lineup: Love, ETN, Jefferson, Waddle, Achan, Higbee, Watson. Bench is Herbert and London.
And then Russ, Pitts, Brees Hall, and Tutu Atwell.
I know you're 1-3, and you don't probably feel great about, but the rest
But
of your
I
roster,
like this team a lot.
yeah, I mean, it's just been, I think, some bad luck with this.
Yeah,
But
Brees Hall coming back, which is going to help. But having
if
said
you can
that,
trade Herbert and Drake London for Lamar and Palmer, I'm doing that.
yeah,
And then unless you have to, drop Russell Wilson. There's no reason for you to have him, especially if you're going to
correct.
trade for Lamar. There's no reason to have him. I think you can upgrade there. And then Pitts, I just can't do anything with him. I can't trust him. Like, I can't trust that he's ever going to be utilized like on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
Would you trade DJ Moore for Damian Pierce? If you need running back, yeah, I think you can definitely do that. All right. Yep. Damian Pierce there. Murdoch. Ken. Colts, Lion, or Wash defense? I'm going Commanders here.
Lions.
Start Hawkinson or Laporta?
Ooh.
It's close. I have both of them in the top 4, but I'm going to go with TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah. As much as I always want to say Laporta to every start sit mentioning his name, I would lean Hawkinson here. Sure, but what I would do is I would trade one of them. There has to be, unless it's like an 8-team league, there has to be someone in your league that is hurting for tight end.
Tingley. Hey, yo. Does trade like Flowers plus Dell for Waddle sound like a fair trade? Full PPR, the rest of the wide receivers are Devonta, Puka, Amari, and Lockett. I mean, sure, if you can pull that off, yeah, I'm about that. Like that,
Yeah.
I think that's a solid trade. You might get they may not want to do that, especially with I mean, Dell obviously is coming off, a down week. So like stuff like that. But overall, yeah, if I can get that for Waddle, I'm doing it all day.
Yeah, I would do it as well.
Living proof, Fields or Stroud? Sorry if you answered this. Sup, living proof. I'm gonna go with Fields.
Fields.
Manuel start 3. Cup if he plays. Smitty, Ridley, Flowers, or Jameson.
So the first three, if Cup plays, if Cup does not play, Smith, Ridley, and Flowers.
I completely agree. Start Fields or Stafford this week. I'm gonna go Fields. Man,
Fields.
I'll back you on Fields on this. What could possibly go wrong? Jason, would you trade in Superflex Kyron and McLaurin for Love and Rashad White? I would not. Oh, Superflex. That changed.
Man. Can we get anybody other than Rashad White? Like I don't know. I'm just kind of out on White. Obviously, in a super flex, the person going after the quarterback is never the one that has the leverage, no matter what it is. But oh man, I guess if Love is going to make it so that you are now like your problems are solved at quarterback, I think you could just because of how valuable quarterbacks are in Superflex, but I would really try and see if I could like bump that up from Rashad White at all. But I'm only doing this if Love just sets you at quarterback. If it doesn't really solve anything, like if you still don't have a great QB2 behind Love, then I think I would hold and look for a different trade partner. God,
Sup, fellas? 4-0 10 team, half point PPR, starting Tua, AJ, Zay, Achan, Cook, Kelsey, Aaron Jones, benches, Gabe Davis, Sutton, London, Cooper, Trevor Lawrence got offered Mixon and Olave for Achan and Zay. Thoughts? Yeah, I'm doing that.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I make that. I mean, it's tough because like I think with Achan, it's like, is he the next Chris Johnson? Because like that's who he like profiles as, I guess, at his size and everything else, to be able to expect, like this kind of long term production from him. But we're starting to see like a little bit of a shift between to this, like these smaller running backs and stuff like that, to where it's not as big of a deal as it used to be. And so like it also worries the hell out of me for getting rid of HN, right? Because Mixon is super inefficient. He's old. Olave, like I love Olave, but it does, worry me moving on from HN. But I still think Chris Olave over the long haul of the season is going to be great,
yeah.
and Mixon should be fine for the most part. AP Cody, random question: what did you get your degree in?
Exercise science, 10 years and 30 pounds ago. I was using my degree for a while. I was doing personal training out of college. Did that for like 5 years, and then I'm awful at sales, so that was that was not the job for me. So no longer doing that, and you would certainly not hire me based on my gut right now either. So probably was not a bad move getting out of that.
Braden, should I trade Debo for CD Lamb? Yeah. If you trade Debo for CD Lamb, I am doing that all day.
Yep.
I just traded DeAndre Hopkins for Eckler. I don't know if that was a smart decision, but hopefully it can help me in the long run. How's your guys day going? Yeah, if you could trade DeAndre Hopkins for Austin Eckler, you just not even just hit a home run, you hit a fucking grand slam. Like
Yes.
the because I don't want any part of DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins has been dreadful.
Yep. That is fantastic move. And if that's how your day is going, Hoffet, you're having a great. If you weren't having a good day, you're having a good day now.
Start which defense this week? Houston, at Atlanta, Pats, or Dallas?
Again, this is a situation where if we're hearing that Derek Carr still isn't fully healthy, I would go Pats. But if Carr, if we see that he gets in a full practice, I think he was limited today. If he gets in a full practice, Thursday and Friday, and he's kind of like over it, I would then pivot to. I'd pivot to Houston. But I would actually probably also just pick up Dallas and just hold them for the rest of the year because I think that's going to be your best bet there. Higbee or Mets, I'm starting Fields. Oh boy, it's hard to ignore the couple of games that Met has had. Um, Washington has been good against tight end. Man,
So for me, I think this is if Cup plays. We're not going to know that in time though.
right?
Fuck. I guess monitor the news is the best thing I can say. Tomorrow and see what they're saying about Cooper Cup because if Cup plays, I don't want to play Higbee as much because then he turns into like the fourth or fifth option in the offense. But if Cup doesn't play, then I would much rather play Higbee. But I think at this point, you're not really going to know. And honestly, there's not a lot separating them. Where they're at, and so I think I probably would just lean towards Komet and just roll with it.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Kevin, I don't know if you knew it, but we hit 4,800, 4,804, 196 to 5K.
Let's go.
Appreciate all yins. Also appreciate one deer, one to Thank you for the super chat. Trade Ford for Madison. 1-3 need to win now. 4-1 buy. Have no other RB2 options outside of Jaleel. I would not. I would hold on to Ford. Yeah, I would pick up Jaleel this week, and I would play Jaleel. I want to keep Ford because I think that there is a chance that Akers could overtake Madison. I do not feel that same way about Pierre Strong or Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, and I don't want to make a trade just for a bye week. And I know you're 1-3, but I guess the other question would be is like, what's the rest of your team look like? I don't know if he put that in there, but if he didn't, if you could tell us
No.
what the rest of your team is, because I don't like that. That doesn't really move the needle for me.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like I don't. This isn't a great matchup either against Kansas City. It's gonna be much more of a throwing script, and so yeah, I think at best you hope that just Javante doesn't play, and then you feel a hell of a lot better about it. Teabag, great name. And the Abbey. Who to start a flex? McLaughlin, Michael Wilson, MT, or Jake Ferguson?
Man. I'll
If
go
if Javante's out, I'm going McLaughlin.
if Javante plays. I'm gonna go Jake Ferguson.
If JT plays, I'm going to go with Michael Wilson. Ryan, I have Moss and Herbert for RB2. No other option besides Akers. Should I play Herbert tomorrow? Yes.
Yeah. Isaac.
What's up, Isaac? How are you doing? Mega Brick, I'm coming off a 200-point week. Tough wide receiver situation for me. Palmer and Godwin on bye. And Higgins probably not playing full PPR. Wide receiver 3, start Dotson. Tony, Lazard, Michael Wilson, Juju. I'm going to go with Dotson.
Yeah, I'll go Dotson here as well. It sets up as a better matchup than the rest, or at least more trustworthy.
Isaac, pick up Higbee, Conklin, or roll with Goddard. Also, pick up Lions D or roll with Cowboys. Thanks. I think if you want to pick up Lions D, I'm fine with it. I mean, I just went through a lot of the teams they play. Like their schedule is pretty nice this year, and Cowboys' situation is going to change for their schedule, where it gets a little bit more tough. And this is the first
Yeah.
kind of real start to that. Also losing
Diggs.
Diggs also is a pretty decent blow to that defense. Because I mean, rest of season, there's some ups and downs, right? Because you have, especially once you get to like the fantasy play, they have the stone cold worst fantasy playoff schedule you could possibly ask for. And I know we're only in week 5, so it's a little early to be thinking about that. But if you're in a good spot, like I would be thinking about that because this is their schedule. There for the fantasy playoffs at Buffalo, terrible matchup. At Miami, terrible matchup. And then at home against Detroit. Like, those are 3 of the worst offenses you could get in that span. And then even before that, you got Philly, you got Seattle. Like, really left, you had, because now, I mean, you have San Francisco week 5. You have at LA, the Chargers week 6. Not a great matchup either. Neither one of those are. They go on bye. Then after that, you get the Rams, which fine. And then at Philadelphia again, not great. And then the Giants at Carolina and Washington. You have that 3-week stretch where you feel good about it. Then after that, it is murder's row for who you're going to get. And so I am perfectly fine with dropping the Cowboys defense.
And then I would just still roll with Goddard for the first question.
Yeah. Animes. Ashton, sorry, but I'm the best Canadian viewer in here.
I always forget Animes also from Canada land.
I can be backup mod for the backup mod. Hey, let's do it. I can do that. Not a problem. I'll have to get back on there and check it out and remember how to do that. But get some moderators in here, Not that we've had anything crazy. It's been a long. They must have done a good job of like getting rid of this because we used to get like the spam stuff all the time, like
Yeah.
All kinds of weird stuff. We haven't gotten that in a while. Waller or Ertz? Giants look so bad.
Man, I still want to say Waller though, because even though Ertz is second in targets among tight ends, and he is tight end 12. Like that is pretty fucking hard to do at tight end. You know what I mean? To have the second most targets and still not really be doing a bunch of them. He's basically catching the ball and falling down. Like he has no yak ability to him at this point. We're starting to see Michael Wilson get more involved. So I would still go Waller here and just hope for the best. Do you like DJ Moore this week? We do like DJ Moore this week, which should scare the shit out of everyone because I am never a DJ Moore type of guy. So do it at your own risk. Pathfinder, should I start Jaleel McLaughlin? I don't have any other reliable RB2s. Well, if you don't have anybody, then kind of solves that for you. I think McLaughlin will be fine. Obviously, you like him a lot more if Javonte is out, but I think I think he'll be okay. Dallas or Detroit, just whenever this one that is going to be Detroit for both of us. Tank Dell or Ayuk, that's going to be Ayuk for me.
Same.
And then Kev, you're gonna have to answer this one on your own because I don't really know anything. Pick your favorite and pick one to disappear forever.
I think the forever one, the gone forever, probably has to be DC. Because like outside of like the Dark Knight series, like it's been pretty bad for everything that they've produced. And I think it'd be for my favorite would be Marvel. Though the last phase was really bad. But I mean, Endgame, Infinity War, absolute classics. Yeah, and I know I'm not as big of a Star Wars fan as a lot of other people are. Like, I don't have anything against it, but like, I don't know. And then Harry Potter, I don't think I've ever actually watched. Like, I've seen bits and pieces of multiple of them, but I've never actually sat down and like watched an entire movie or read the books for Harry Potter.
I haven't really seen anything from any of them, so I can't comment.
I want to make a move because I don't get waiver wires ever. Our stupid league bases it off moves and not record. So I'm guessing you must have rolling waivers. So I'm at the bottom of the order weekly because I made a couple of moves first weeks. Yeah. That's why I hate rolling waivers. I'm guessing that's what you're meaning by this, which it shouldn't go off record either, in my opinion. I think Fab is by far the most,
That's just
the best way to go.
100%.
But Alexander, if you're in a league like I am, where my home league, where we've been doing this for years and nobody wants to change anything, because I have brought up doing Fab a couple of times and everyone's just like totally against it because really they don't know what it is. And so, but
Scary.
Fab is by far the best way to do it. I think it's the most equitable way. I think there's strategy behind it actually of like when to use and how much to use. And, are you going to be safe and not use it all and wait till later until maybe a big injury happens or some big breakout happens or something like that, or to use it early. I just think Fab is the best way to go. But yeah, I hate rolling waivers.
Cameron Cook, Flex Star, Kamara, Cook, or Laporta.
It's gonna be Kamara for me.
Golly, man. You know what? Sam motherfucking Laporta.
I was there. Also, there are people in the league with 0 moves and never had first waiver claim. Yeah, it's
rough.
That's usually what happens. Is people sit there and hold on to that like one of the top waiver ads like all year and hope that something happens. Like, I don't know. For a while that's what I would do, and now I don't do that at all because I feel like you just miss out on so many opportunities to add players. Like if you're waiting for this big whale, likely it's already passed, right? And so usually within the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season are when the best options are going to become available because that's when we don't really know anything yet. And so for most people, like those guys have already happened. Like right now, like if like can you think of a running back that could get hurt that would create some like running back that you would just have to go out and get? Like an injury that would come that would be like, oh my god, you have to have this guy. Like I don't know, like because like if like
I
Christian
would think
McCaffrey went down,
Pollard.
like is Elijah Mitchell like somebody that you're just like, oh my god, this guy's gonna go off type situation, you know?
He should be, but the dude is already injured and hasn't even been like playing this year, right? Like I think the next ones up to me would be Rico Dowdle. Although I think Deuce Vaughn would mix in, I think it would be the majority of those touches would go to Rico. Um,
I think the one that stands the most out to me, and he's not even available in a lot of leagues, but he is out there for some. Would be if Kenneth Walker went down, and so then Zach Charbonnet became the guy.
that's a good
Like
call.
I'm talking about like that if a guy got hurt and then all of a sudden this guy just becomes an absolute can't miss home run hit. Like I think that would be one that would come to mind. But like there's nobody else that really just stands out. Like if Derrick Henry went down, I think Tajay Spears would be super interesting. But again, situation isn't necessarily great. Offensive line's terrible. Like just off the top of my head, like there's not a lot of guys out there that I'm just like, oh man, like this would be such a home run move if it happened. Like for a lot of years, it used to be like Alexander Madison, like, oh, if Dalvin Cook went down, Alexander Madison was going to be that guy, or Ezekiel Elliott. If Ezekiel Elliott gets hurt, Tony Pollard's going to be a smash play. Like there's really not a lot of those guys this year,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Lucius, best buy low wide receiver currently, not Debo or Ridley. Also, I live in St. Louis, so go Tigers. Let's go. Big game this weekend against LSU. Big game this weekend against LSU, baby.
Buy low wide receiver. We need to start doing the buy sell video so I have better, so I at least have some thought off the top of my head. I think Waddle is interesting because he hasn't done much, and obviously he's still in that incredibly explosive offense. I think Waddle will be an interesting one, but I don't know. He's not going to be like a quote unquote true buy low, but I do think you might be able to get him at a slight discount. Um, Michael Pittman, I think would be a solid one to consider as well. Calvin Ridley would be another good one.
Michael Pittman coming off a kind of down week a little bit. I think he could be definitely somebody you could look to acquire. Garrett Wilson, especially if Zach Wilson can continue to look like what he looked like last week against Kansas City, then that completely changes everything for Garrett Wilson because that's the scary part. If Zach Wilson turns back into a pumpkin, then no, he's not a great buy low option. But he would be a name that I think you could definitely look at as a buy low. Um,
Rasheed Rice.
Oh yeah, I mean Rasheed Rice for sure, but I think he's just a buy. I don't even know if I'd call him buy low, but yeah, at this point. But yes, Rasheed Rice would be somebody you could look at. Christian Watson, I think, could be another name that you could look at buying. Like I think those would be the names that I would look at the top of my head for sure. But Jalen Waddle, I think, is probably the best bet. I mean, the dude hasn't even had a top 24 finish yet. I mean, it's 31, 43, and 48 in the 3 games that he's played so far.
It's a gross offense, but Deontay Johnson could be like he's obviously not gonna like solve it. He's not gonna make you feel great, but I think he would be like an interesting buy low type of option. I think that's a piece of that offense that is sorely missed right now because just chucking it downfield to George Pickens, although it looks good at times, is not the best thing for this offense. And Deontay Johnson has earned 140 targets, no matter who the quarterback is, no matter what other pieces are around him, year in and year out. So I think he could be an interesting look once he's back and healthy.
And he should be about back, right? This will be what his third week. This will be his third week out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he should only have another week or two. So okay, Nicholas, should I trade away Chase and Stevenson for Swift, Achan, and Flowers? I'm gonna say no.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like under normal circumstances, this would be like an absolutely not. But with how, yeah, that's the only reason why I'm hesitating with how that Bengals offense has looked. But I still, and Nicholas, unless you're just stacked at wide receiver and you're not necessarily going to miss Chase, even though you're gonna miss him in some form or fashion. But if you're just absolutely stacked, like let's say maybe you have, I don't know who would be even realistic, like maybe Amon-Ra and Devonta Smith. I guess like if you're running out those two receivers, maybe Devontae Adams fell in your draft. If you have like two other top receivers and what you're missing is solid running back production, I think you could think about it. But in a vacuum, I would say no unless you're just like I said, unless you're stacked at wide receiver.
Yeah. Teabag, I lost Achan because of waiver orders. I was first to claim him and still didn't get him.
Yikes. Fab solves it all.
Yeah. Sell your league on Fab, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Super. Trade away Sutton and Gabe Davis for McLaurin. I'm gonna say no. I mean, it's not a bad trade. Like Gabe Davis is definitely going to be very hit or miss. Like, um, on a week to week basis, he's a little bit harder to trust. Though, I mean, because if, even this year, he's kind of been that way. He's had a wide receiver 69 and a 45 finish, but he also had a wide receiver 14 and 21 finish. So, you know, he's going to be hit or miss. He's going to be hard to trust on a weekly basis. And then you have Sutton, who is kind of in the same light. I just feel like maybe I would rather just go after a different wide receiver than Terry McLaurin, I guess. Put it that way.
Yeah.
But if you, but I wouldn't hate it. If you want to do it, wouldn't hate it at all either. I don't think like you're getting screwed or it's not a terrible trade by any means.
Just that McLaurin has a very safe floor. We haven't really seen a ceiling with him, really, like in any years because he doesn't score a ton of touchdowns, right? Like you're never going to go get like a 30-point type of day out of McLaurin where you can get that from Gabe Davis. But like if you kind of just like need someone steady, I think that's the trade is fine.
Yeah. Brian, what would you do with Gibbs now that Monty is back? By the way, running backs are CMC, James Cook, and Aaron Jones. It was like to rock 4 running backs per week. How many running backs good to start? PPR formats, you actually want to start less running backs. Like if you have it's like 3 wide receivers and a flex, like you want to start wide receivers in your flex. Like it's actually I would rather start only 2 running backs and then start wide receivers in my flex spots.
Yeah, but if it's a half PPR, I think you're fine with rolling out 4 running backs, but it also depends on what your wide receivers options are as well. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want to be sitting Devonta Smith for let's say Cook or Aaron Jones, just like in a vacuum to try and throw out an example.
Yeah. Sammy B, flex, Dell or Boyd, considering hearing this out. So this is gonna be Tank Dell. Problem with Tyler Boyd is he like even last year when they had wide receivers hurt, he still didn't do anything. Like you have to go back to I think it's week 6 or 7 last year for the last time Tyler Boyd had over 70 yards receiving. Like so it's tough because like we've seen him in situations where guys were out and he still really didn't produce. And so I think it's Tank Dell.
Yeah, Tank Dell, at least he has a ceiling.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Sammy. Ashton, Stafford, Howe, or Mac. I'm gonna go with Sam Howe.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. Joe, I like Hall too, and that's what I'm set at now. ETN Swift, thanks guys for the help, and I love making you think about your answers. Well, we appreciate it too for not making it easy on us. There, Joe. Let's see, Dotson or Dell. I'm gonna go Tank Dell. Official OGs. Do I start Sutton this week? Mike Evans is on bye, and Higgins sucks. I have no other receivers. My flex is Dameon Pierce, and it's been a bad year for 1 and 3. Yes, this is like a
I think if I think if Higgins plays, I would still put Higgins over Sutton because I do not like that matchup. I think he gets bodied by Sauce Gardner. So I think if he plays, I would likely roll out Higgins. Um, but some we talked about earlier, some we mentioned on the wide receiver show, like She Rice, I think is a name I'd probably rather start over both of them. I think you could, I think you could consider this year. Just trying to think of someone who is likely out there on waivers. Kev, you run the receivers for our waiver show every Sunday. Are there any other names you could think of that are generally available that you would throw out over either Sutton or Higgins?
so I just don't think Higgins plays. I really don't. Um, over Sutton, like I think there are wide receivers that are in the realm, right? Like I think Jaden Reed would be somebody you could look at over him. We talked about Rashee Rice. I think it's kind of similar, very similar there too as well. He would be in that stratosphere player that I would look that you could play over Cortland Sutton. You're right. It's a really bad matchup against Sauce Gardner. And if I'm swinging for the fences, I think that those would be the kind of because those matchups there, Rice against Kansas City, Jaden Reed against the Raiders are both really good options there that you could take a look at. Marvin Mims would be another name, but he is very boomer bust. But maybe like a Michael Gallup as well, Josh Downs. Like these are all, but like I still think I would go Cortland Sutton though over those guys. Like that's very like let's put it. It'd be very ballsy to play one of those. I think at least the latter options. Like if Rashee Rice was there, I would strongly consider it, and I think Jaden Reed, I would strongly consider it too. Let's go, Ashton. Justified was great, fantastic show. You don't even know, Cody. Coulter, Goff over Purdy rest of season. Yes.
Yep.
Drop Purdy for Rashee Rice. Yes. Go Chiefs. Let's go, Coulter. We gotta stick together with all these haters out there.
Stick. Oh my god.
I'm so I'm so
Stick.
tired.
Let's move on. We don't.
I'm so
We're
tired of
still
hearing
we're
all the.
still 40 minutes behind. I can't get behind you on this. This is like when fucking Ryan Day for Ohio State came out. It's always been Ohio against the world. It's been Ohio against the world. Shut up. Let's move on.
See, just a
It
hater.
was Curtis. It was Curtis Samuel showing through the waivers this week. With the waivers, Gus Edwards matchup. Should I move him to RB2 instead of Herbert? No, because it's a favorable matchup for Herbert as well.
Yeah, I'd probably still lean Herbert. I just can't trust Gus Edwards. Like, I don't know.
Puka for Chase?
I mean, yeah, sure. It's wild that you're even having to I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if Burrow continues to struggle, you know what I mean? If Cobb struggles, then I think that's a situation where that ends up being Puka at the end of the season. But I still think I would do it, but it's nowhere near a slam dunk. Stroud or Lawrence this week?
T-Law.
I'm gonna go Stroud. Addison sitting on waivers. I'd pick him. Generations. I can't remember what your question was. I'm trying to scroll up to see what it is, but Oh, so it's Edwards. Oh, so it's Edwards, Boyd, Samuel, Dell, Pickens, Rice, or Mims for this week. I would still go, and it was Curtis Samuel, so I'd still go Dell over Addison. But I think you could probably drop Tyler Boyd
Yeah, Addison
for
should not be sitting on waivers.
Addison. Kupp and Puka in the same lineup every week, not good. It's not that it's not. It's not that it's not good, but I mean, if you had to, like, there's certainly worse wide receiver pairings that you could do it, but you're kind of hamstringing yourself if, like, I mean, if one of them has a bad day. But a different way you could look at it is, like, let's say Cup goes off. Say Cup goes off for 30. Puka has 4. You can kind of look at that as like an average. And they both average 17 points. So you can kind of look at it that way too. But I especially like something like the Rams that could go sideways really quick, like if Stafford were to get injured, then you are not feeling good about running both those guys in the lineup every week. Kev, I do not know this the schedule off the top of my head. If you want to pull up the Seahawks end of year schedule
So
for
week
the
15 they
playoffs.
have Philadelphia. Week 16 they have at Tennessee. Week 17 they're at home against Pittsburgh.
That sounds pretty sounds pretty good for me.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not bad. I don't think it's nothing that stands out to me that's like, oh my god, that's like smash spots. But
Tennessee.
yeah, it should be. But I'll say Seattle's offense also hasn't really been great either through the first 4 weeks of the season. It's been kind of sloppy, a little bit all over the place. But yeah, it's not a terrible spot for sure. I mean, there's definitely much worse fantasy playoff options. Do you take trade questions? Yes, we
That
take
was
all
a
questions.
super chat. Thanks, Wandy.
Oh, sorry. Not good at fantasy. Cook or Kyron rest of season? I'm gonna go James Cook.
James Cook, but it's close.
Brees or Brian Robinson?
Brees.
I am too, but it's actually a lot closer than you think it would be. Achan, Damian Pierce, Deontay for Bijan and Algier. Yes.
Yeah. Bijan side.
Hopkins is playing like Michael Thomas. That's a fucking huge all win. Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins. Hey, chase the bag. This is what he gets. 808. Kevin Cody, evening fellas. How are you? 808. I need 2 wide receivers in a flex. Christian Kirk, 2-2, D Hop, Michael Wilson, Javante, or Gus Edwards. So the 2 wide receivers for me is going to be Kirk and 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
And then the flex, it's going to be I'm going to go with Gus Edwards.
I'll go D Hop.
Moss for Gibbs or Khalil Herbert. I mean, you can trade Zach Moss for Gibbs. I'm doing that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Is Kyle Pitts a good pickup from waivers?
Guess it depends on what who you're rocking at tight end right now. But you're never gonna feel great about starting him. Rah.
With the super chat, Fields or Love this week?
Justin Fields, what could go wrong?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Justin Fields. Like, there's a part of it that's like wants to go Love just because I know that matchup is so much better. And second, I just despise playing players on that are on Thursday night. It always feels like it's all over the place. But yes, Fields I think is the more logical option. I do have Jordan Love as a top 12 quarterback this week. I have him at 12, but I do have Fields higher, and we are either going to be happy people that love us tomorrow or being like fuck those guys. Where are we at? Someone dropped T. Higgins and from my league. Should I pick him up? Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
There's no reason T. Higgins. I know as bad as he's been, but there's no reason he should be available. Need one running back at a flex. Miles Sanders, Brees Hall, and McLaurin. This is going to be Brees Hall.
Brees.
Also, Ertz or Dalton Kincaid.
Ertz.
I'm going to go Dalton Kincaid.
Well, it's because you are a closet dynasty fan and you hate old players. Yeah, just skip it.
That's got to be all right. We're just going to.
Well, I don't know. I just there hasn't been anything else.
Yeah, but
I
that's
was
just like
scrolling.
the
Yeah.
most random thing ever. You know, no, just gonna do it. Cincinnati or Baltimore D.
Baltimore.
Yeah. Should I do Najee Etienne and Terry for Saquon?
I feel like you should be able to get like something back. Like I would ask for like a little piece back, and then I think I would do it. I don't care about losing Najee. Dude's a turd. Awful pick when the Steelers took him. It's an awful pick today. The only piece there I really care about losing is ETN. But it still feels like you should be able to get like a small piece in return. But if you can't and you can lose that depth, I would do it.
Santana, stash Tajay or Cam Akers? Tajay Spears.
Yeah.
Or drop Elijah Moore to stash both.
I think you could do that.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer the Tajay Spears side for sure. And then Gibbs or Hubbard as a flex. It's going to be Gibbs on this one.
Yeah.
Tajay Spears or Zach Moss. I mean, if JT doesn't play, then it's going to be Zach Moss. If JT does play, I would probably go Tajay Spears and hope that he catches some passes.
I'd probably still go Zach Moss. Like, even if JT plays, I can't imagine he gets a full complement of snaps. So you have to remember that he hasn't done, like, I don't know the last time this dude did any physical activity. He certainly hasn't, gotten any, actual football type of reps in, like, where he's gotten hit or anything. So I can't imagine they just throw him into a full complement of snaps. And then I don't see this being a game where they're going to be trailing and kind of throw Derrick Henry to the wayside and throw Spears out. So I still think Zach Moss probably ends up with more touches.
Big Mac. Someone offered me Anthony Richardson, Damian Pierce, and Pittman for T. Higgins and Njoku. Do I accept? Yeah, if you're getting the Anthony Richardson side, yep, for sure. Cody is watching film when we're watching the movies and TVs. Yeah, he's a film grinder, man. That's what he does. He just sits in there and grinds film all day. Alexander, I agree. That's why I was thinking about making a move. Not sure how much I trust Aaron Jones. Yeah. DJP. Flex one. Hall, JT, or Collins?
Man.
I'm gonna go
DJP. Who are you starting at wide receiver? Because I would like to get Collins in there. I'm not throwing in JT over Hall. But man.
I'm gonna probably go Brees Hall, but it's gonna be a close second with Collins. Like Collins has been so good
Yeah.
start the year.
I barely put Hall above Collins because it could just end up being a Tank Dell week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got 3 ups for RB2 this week. Najee, Herbert, and McLaughlin. Who should I go with? I think if Javante is out, I'm gonna go with Jaleel. If he plays, I'm gonna go with Herbert.
Probably not going to know that, right? So I'd probably just play it safe and go Herbert.
Well, I think you'll have some sort of idea. If Javante doesn't practice tomorrow, you can probably feel some way about that. Like at least it give you some sort of indication. If he practices at all, then I would assume that he probably has a pretty good shot at playing and just go Herbert. But I think it's close enough either way that if you just want to go Herbert and be safe about it, I think it's probably not a bad idea either. ETN and Christian Watson or Andrews and Kyron, 8-man. I want the ETN side.
Yeah.
Luis got an offer in a 10-man PPR. I'm getting Justin Jefferson and giving Scary Terry and Keenan Allen. That'll give me Kupp and Pittman and JJ if I accept. Yes.
Yeah, I would do it. But that is it's closer than what we would have expected at the beginning of the year.
I mean, if you
I
could
want
get like a smaller piece added into that, maybe you do that. And like it doesn't. I'm talking about like a bench running back or something like that. Somebody that can offer a little bit of depth or something like that. Because it is a little bit. I mean, because Keenan Allen has been a baller. So far to start the year. Obviously, he's on bye this week, but like he's been fantastic. Like he's been right there with Justin Jefferson, and then adding in Terry McLaurin, who's still a wide receiver 3 for the most part. Like, so you are giving up a little bit more. So if you could get a little bit more, I would do it. If not, maybe I don't know. It does worry me with Keenan Allen, like long term all year, injury concerns that he's had over his career and stuff like that. He's aging. Like, not that I think he's going to fall off by any means, but there is some
yeah.
certain things that does worry me where I don't have that concern with Justin Jefferson. We know he's the best wide receiver in the league. So, Junior PPR need a flex. Should I start Gibbs versus Panthers or P Ryan versus the Jets? I'm going to go with Gibbs.
Yeah.
808. Who would you rather roster? Gabe Davis, George Pickens, or Joshua Palmer? Also is worth holding on to D Hop.
I think I'd rather hold on to Davis. Deontay's going to come back at some point. George Pickens will not be getting double-digit targets.
Yeah. I don't know. I feels like it should be George Pickens, but the offense is so incredibly bad that yeah, it's probably Gabe Davis or Joshua Palmer for that matter. Is it worth holding on to D Hop?
Kind
It
of just
depends on
have
how big
to.
of a league it is. If it's like a 12-team league, yes. But if this is like an 8-team league, no. You can definitely
Yeah,
drop DeAndre Hopkins.
good point.
Joe, thanks for the help, guys. I think this is my favorite show. I love that you all read all the comments, not just the ones you like. Yes. Everybody's
Thank you,
comment
Joe.
matters. And well, unless you say something stupid, but
Unless you're Walito.
or Walida.
Yeah.
Anyway, good night and good luck this week. Yes, good luck to you. Get those dubs. Cody gets my vote to play Ryan Day in a movie. Don't hype him up like that. He doesn't. Mr. Yang, half point PPR, DJ Moore or Monty in the flex. This is Monty all day.
Monty.
I feel that as well. I will probably pick up Addison. Yes, I 100% would. I see this week I've got 2 running backs on bye, Walker and White. I have Zach Moss in right now, but Gus Edwards and Jalen Warren on waivers. I'm thinking Gus.
I would start Gus over
Warren this
Jalen
week,
Warren.
yes.
Yeah.
But I feel like long term I would rather have Jalen Warren. So this is tough. But Yeah, I think for this week, since you need it for this week, yes, go pick up Gus Edwards if you can. If you need a running back, who would you have tried to get if you're willing to give up Michael Thomas and or Mahomes? I don't know why we got to get rid of Mahomes here, Alexander.
I mean, I think because I did scroll up whenever Alexander was talking about the waivers. I think you could consider moving Mahomes and seeing if you could get like Anthony Richardson plus. I mean, if you're struggling in that league, if you need some of those pieces, I think that's something you could consider to where. Yes, exactly. That Alexander just dropped in my thoughts exactly. Mahomes has the most value with giving up my other starters. That's probably the what I would consider doing, but obviously, um, unless there's a streamable option sitting out on waivers, you're likely going to be looking, like I said, getting like Anthony Richardson and then like an RB or wide receiver on top. So something like that.
Raul, would you trade away Debo for Waddle? Yes.
Yeah.
Pick 2, Dobbs, Thielen, Sutton, Jameson, Williams, Jacoby Myers.
Thielen and Jacoby.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks.
Cody was right about Najee. I was here at Draft Stream. You wanted O line and argued Steelers fans about it.
That's
808.
how
What do you?
long Ashton's been rocking with us.
Yep. Who do you think is winning between Texans and Falcons? I would go Texans.
I like the Texans too.
Cody, did you
I
hear
did
this?
see I did see the trade. Curious to see who they're I haven't been keeping up with the NHL as much as I would like. Although trying to get my 4-year-old into sports a little bit more. I'm going to be trying to watch some more this season just to kind of get him exposed to some different sports. But I did see the trade. I know he's been working with the first power play unit, but I have not seen who they're going to pair him with yet. But it's obviously an interesting one. But it also just feels like they're trying to, like, I don't know, they don't have the youth and the speed that they did whenever they were making those cup runs. Obviously, adding Carlson is never going to be a bad thing to any blue line, but just kind of feels like they're obviously holding on, which is what they have to do considering the age of Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. But should be exciting.
I have no idea what you just said, but we can keep it moving. Pacheco, Flowers, or Dell for 1 flex full PPR. I'm gonna go Pacheco.
Yeah,
The D Hop hold is on a 10-team PPR league.
I so to throw another one out, also depends on how many people you are starting each week. Like if it's just like a 2-2-1 tight end and a flex, like I don't necessarily think that he's a hold. It also depends on your bench size as well. So without, as long as we continue not giving you a direct answer, but I think you could consider it in a 10-team league.
Yeah. Good stream, guys. Keep being goats. Ashton, appreciate you.
Just doing what we do.
Let's see. Not good at fantasy. I think I asked in this Discord, but Olave or Andrews in an 8-man.
Andrews. Is this the one where you have Laporta too? If this is the one where you also have Laporta, I would do Olave. In a vacuum, I would want Andrews because in an 8-man, you want as many positional advantages as you can get. So if this is the league, I think you have Andrews and Laporta, I would do this trade. But if you don't have, like because like even in an 8-man, you're not going to go out and pick up a tight end off of waivers. It's going to get you close to Andrews on a week by week basis. Yeah, then I think you drop Bull then. Yeah, if this is a league where I think you also have Laporta, I think. If that's the case, I would do it. Kizo, would y'all give up Ramondre for Kyron?
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah.
The role is secure. The pass catching usage is definitely there. I think a better offense. So yeah, I would do that.
For Noel, Fields, or Cousins?
It's gonna be Kirko Chains on this one.
I'm going to go Kirk there as well. Gallup, Dotson, London. We need to bench one in a full PPR. I'm going to bench London. Can't do it. Can't do it.
I'm gonna
Bijan is
bench.
the only piece I want in that offense.
Yeah, I'm gonna bench Michael Gallup.
Sorry, we weren't able to help you there, Noel. OGG, what do you do with Madison?
Try to sell if you can. It's gonna be tough, but that would be like what I would try to do. Go back to the question you answered about my options for running back, Herbert McLaughlin. I have Javante on bench as well. Forgot to mention that.
Well, then I would just go with if Javante plays, I'm playing Javante. If not, I think you just hold off and then play McLaughlin.
Yeah. D-Man, I traded Kamara and Nico Collins for Devonta Smith, Lockett, and Brees Hall. Thoughts? I think it's all trade.
Well
I mean,
done.
obviously Nico has been really good. Kamara is coming off a good performance, but I think Brees Hall rest of season could end up being one of those guys like a league winner, right? Like super productive, super explosive. His knee injury wasn't nearly as bad as some of the others that we've seen. So they've kind of taken the slow approach with him. And so I just think that getting Brees Hall is a smash, and then Devontae Smith is a strong wide receiver too, right there with Nico. So yeah, I think he won. I think he did really well with that trade. Alejandro, sit, start, Fields, Stevenson, Pierce, Moore, Marquise Brown, Kelsey Pickens, benches, Edwards, McKinnon, Dell, Flowers, Laporta, waivers, Curtis Samuel, Dotson, Gallup, Boyd, CH, Hubbard, P. Ryan. As far as your starters are concerned,
Laporta in the flex over Pickens.
yes. And then waivers, guess things like Gus Edwards, McKinnon. Like, if you wanted to drop like McKinnon for I don't know if I think I would like to have Jahan Dotson, but
Yeah, but then I feel like Dotson kind of just gets grouped in with Dell and Flowers and Hollywood, right? Like they'll probably just.
yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. I'd probably just leave it the way that you have it. I think it's fine.
Yeah. But Laporta over Pickens.
Andrew, I have an incoming trade offer.
Old Rocky Top.
Could I get some advice? Well, not since you go to Tennessee. We don't deal with Tennessee people around these parts. I'm a Missouri fan, so I mean, yeah, I'll answer it. He wants Herbert, Henry, and Calvin for Brees, Sutton, Fields, London, Debo. Should I take or no? Wants Herbert, Henry, and Calvin.
So it's Dalvin, right? Or is it Calvin Austin?
I'm guessing that's Calvin Ridley.
Oh yeah, golly.
I think I would take that.
Which side do you want?
The Brees side. Like Sutton and London does nothing for me. And I'm assuming you're talking about Justin Herbert on that. So it'd be Justin Herbert, Derrick Henry, Calvin Ridley for Brees Hall, Sutton, Fields, London, Debo. I don't know. You know what? Actually, I don't know. I don't think that I would. It's just like Justin Herbert has been fantastic so far to start the season. I know he dinged up his hand or whatever, but he should be fine once he's
Non-throwing
come.
hand.
They're on bye this week, so they'll be good to go. They're gonna get they should have all the weapons back within the offense. Austin Eckler will be back after this week as well, and so Justin Herbert has just been elite. You don't have to worry about him like you have to worry with Fields. And then obviously, I love Brees Hall. Like, could you make this smaller and not get rid of Herbert and like Calvin Ridley and maybe just deal Derrick Henry? Like, do Derrick Henry and try to see if you can get like Brees and another piece. Because I would rather have Brees Hall rest of season than Derrick Henry.
Golly. I would too, but I also don't want to give up those other pieces to do that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, could you just get rid of Herbert and Calvin
Yeah.
Ridley from the deal, and maybe even offer Derrick Henry for Brees Hall straight up? Or if you feel like you deserve more than that, maybe adding in a secondary piece. Yes, my team is in shambles. By the way, I have no one else on my team besides them. The problem is like, so when I see Sutton, like, it does nothing for me. When I see Drake London, it does nothing for me. They're not going to help you. They've been pretty terrible in their own right. So it just doesn't do anything for me. And you're losing value in the quarterback position unless Justin Fields is going to sustain what he just did. Anyway, I might add, a lot of it was through the air, not on the ground, which is what really makes Justin Fields so damn valuable. And so, and like I just, like, I'm perfectly okay with trading Derrick Henry. I just, for those players, I think you can get better options. Like, I get it. Or like I
Yeah.
said, if you're wanting to like move Derrick Henry for Brees Hall and another piece.
And I think I would also, if you need these other pieces, I would try and make like separate moves with these guys. Like I wouldn't try and jumble them all together and move them off, because these are the kind of like offers you're gonna get, right? Where like they're just throwing volume at you to try and get your best players. You know what I mean? They're giving you 10 dimes for your dollar.
And Andrew, I don't know if you're in our Discord or not. Um, it might be easier because it's hard to say some of this without seeing other teams and stuff like that. And obviously, I'm not going to ask you to type out every single team that's in your league. But if you are in our Discord, you could post some screenshots of like some other teams. We can kind of give you an idea of who you should try to target and stuff like that, or who you should because I just wouldn't want to trade Justin Herbert, and I really don't want to trade Calvin Ridley right now. Like I said, like I love the Brees Hall, getting him, and like Debo is good, but like the other options, I'm just not all that excited about. So Andrew, if you're not, you could jump into our Discord. Actually, I mean, I think outside of this video because it doesn't give it in the live stream, but any one of our
I just
videos.
put it in there.
Oh well, never mind. All right, you can go into our Discord if you want to drop your channel or your team and stuff like that. We could maybe talk through it a little bit and kind of get an idea of which way we should go here with that. So, Lions D or Commanders D? This is gonna be Lions D.
Yep.
Alejandro Sitstar again. CJ Jacobs, Achan, Pickens, Pittman, Kelsey, Dobbs, benches, Javante, Dalvin Cook, Laporta, IR, Kupp, waivers, Judy, Boyd, Michael Thomas, Waller, Woods. So I'm dropping Dalvin Cook, especially in a league like this. If all these guys are available, I'm dropping Dalvin Cook for Jerry Judy.
Yeah. The reason why I hesitate is because he obviously has Cup coming back. Doesn't really seem like.
Yeah, I just don't think his
Well,
wide
never mind.
receivers though
I
are
didn't
super.
see.
I mean,
Yeah,
strong, right? Like you have Pickens and
I
Pittman.
didn't see Javante there. Yeah, I would do that too.
Yeah. I need to trade /drop wide receiver because Kupp is coming back. Yeah.
Um, yeah, drop Cook, and then don't worry about it.
Landon, ETN or Kamara this week is going to be ETN.
Yep,
Would you trade Mahomes and DJ Moore for Hurts, Sutton, and Hall? Yes.
yep.
OGG, would you give who would you give RB2 to? Madison Herbert. I'm actually dropping Roshan. No, I'm not dropping Roshan. I don't mean that to like one for one. Roshan Johnson is a better running back than McLaughlin is, right? And so I would not want to drop Roshan Johnson if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Because he feels very much like that running back that's a rookie that starts slow and ends up or it gets worked through, and then by the end of the year is the starting running back of this team. And that I don't see that happening for McLaughlin unless an injury comes. Just join the Discord. Let's go. Hope to see you over there.
Neat.
Another problem is he would be loaded too. He has Pollard, Cook, Garrett Wilson, Tyreek, and if I accept, he would be loaded. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care so much about that part. It's more about like how do you get your team better, right? And it feels like he's trading you a lot of his scraps for your best players, and that's just not a situation that I would want to accept.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. 808 is James Conner equal Javonte Williams, Jonnu Smith, and Jaden Reed. I'm guessing he's saying trading James Conner for Javonte, Johnny Smith, and Jaden Reed. I'm guessing that's the question.
If that's the question, I would absolutely trade Connor for those players and then just drop Johnny Smith.
Yeah.
I would not want to do that in the opposite direction. I would
Okay.
not
Yeah.
want
That's
to
the
trade
yes.
for.
So yes, Mr. B. It's the same situation. Oh well, two RB3s. Is that? I don't know what that. Oh.
Think
Okay.
maybe the Madison question.
Yeah. Okay. Culture, I think I have a lot of running backs. Should I be trying to move some for an upgrade on wide receiver, sell high on Williams and a wide receiver, not AJ Brown, for an upgrade somehow?
Let me scroll up here. Find old Coulter. Golly, it'd be nice if there was like a filter. Being able to like filter through some of these because in a 2.5 hour stream, trying Coulter, the last thing I'm seeing from you was the Goff over Purdy question, unless I skim past it. So if you want to drop your roster in there and help you out a little bit better. Kev, if you want to go to the next one, I'll keep scrolling through to see if I can see
Alejandro
what
again need to drop a wide receiver, Amari Pickens, Pittman, Dobbs, because Kupp is coming back. Dalvin Cook is a running back. Yeah, we know he's a running back, but
unless there's a situation where you can only have so many. You know what I mean? Like how Brian has in one of his leagues.
if you have to drop a wide receiver, I'm going to drop probably George Pickens at this point.
Yeah, maybe you can try and package Dobbs with another player to see if you can sell high on Dobbs after after the 2 weeks that he just had, um, and make a roster spot that way.
What's that? So to be clear, Javante and Jane Reed is worth more than James Conner. So James Conner hasn't been like fantastic. Like he's been fine, right? Uh he has scored 12, 17, 20. Like those two those obviously way better than Javante Williams has done, right? Like there's no denying that. And I guess you're more projecting for for Javante Williams and what he can be versus James Conner. And I totally get that. And what worries me with James Conner is his more so who this team is, where this team is at. There's been conversations that they are already looking to move Marquise Brown from this team, and so I don't know what this role is going to look like long term for James Conner. This feels very much like a situation where they start to give some of these younger players a look at the same situation. And I do think Javante Williams, as the season goes by, is going to get more and more comfortable, and he is going to start looking much more like the running back that we expect him to be. Much like a J.K. Dobbins, like last year, right? Kind of came back a little early, suffered that, had to get the scar tissue cleanup. Once he came back from that later in the year, he looked like he was fantastic. And that's where I would look at this. Like James Conner's not some like saving grace, like great running back option or anything like that. He is a low end RB2 for the most part within this offense. We have started to see his role drop. Like he went from an 80% snap guy, he's all the way down to a 60% snap guy. Like he is losing, he's already starting to lose opportunity and lose some of that as we speak. Like it's happened each and every week over the last 4 weeks. So his role has started to diminish a little bit, has started to drop off. And if he's not seeing the pass catching work, which so far all he's seen is he saw 5 targets in week 1. Past that, it was 1, 2, and 2. And so I get it. Like on paper, it's not necessarily the sexiest move because of we just haven't seen Javante Williams produce yet. I think we would have saw him produce last week against, and of course he gets hurt right at the beginning of the game. But I do think long term, I think Javante Williams rest of season is a better option than than James Conner.
Yeah. Zach Moss worth holding on to. I mean, I think it depends on your RB situation, and obviously we still have the outside chance that Jonathan Taylor gets traded. In that case, obviously we've seen that Zach Moss will be the guy for the Colts. So I think he's worth holding on to. But again, this also depends on league size, bench size, and that sort of thing. Could be worth holding on to, but I don't think he's necessarily a must hold.
No,
Depends
not
on
at
the
all.
factors. Anyway, need one for the flex. Javante, Jaden Reed, Josh Reynolds, Jameson Williams. Javante plays. I'm going Javante.
Oh, yep, yep.
If he doesn't, Kev, who do you lean?
Jaden Reed matchup. I mean, Jaden Reed has been pretty productive for the most part. He's actually the wide receiver. It's not like fantastic, but I think he's the wide receiver. He is a top 30. He has been a top 36 wide receiver through the first 4 weeks of the season.
Mr. B disagrees.
And he's seen at least 5 targets in every single game this year, even with Christian Watson back. Like saying Jaden Reed like isn't a great option. Like again, you have to look at the landscape, kind of like you mentioned. And I mean, as a flex option with bye weeks coming, like Jaden Reed is squarely, uh, a flex option for a lot of people.
And Javante is it, Mr. B. You should be sorry for besmirching that name. So are we split on Olave versus DJ Moore? Earlier, would Christian Kirk change any of that? It would if Zay Jones is out, but you're likely not going to know that by tomorrow. So I would still go. I mean, I think Christian Kirk will still be okay. Thinking that there should be more three wide receiver sets, even if Zay Jones does play, because they should be pushed. Obviously, going up against Buffalo in this game, so he still should be okay. But we've seen whenever Zay Jones is healthy, Christian and the Jags are in like a neutral or positive game script, Christian Kirk will not be involved. We've had the good Christian Kirk games with no Zay Jones, and when the Jags are uh, in in negative game script. So it would depend if Zay Jones is playing, but I think we're still going to end up being split on this one. Michael Gill, one wide receiver, one flex, full PPR. Judy, Dell, McLaughlin, Javante, and Laporta. Say it, Kev. Say it, Kev.
So a wide receiver, I'm going to go with Tank Dell.
I completely skipped by all that, and I just want to say Laporta. I didn't even. I read it, and I completely forgot about wide receiver being a thing.
At flex, if
It's
Javante's
Laporta. It's Laporta.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go Laporta.
God damn right. What about this trade for Alejandro Laporta and Dobbs for Swift or Pierce?
If I can get it for Swift, I would do it.
Yeah. And that's why we are here, 808, here to help walk you through all of that. No, Javante isn't. I mean, he's not necessarily healthy right now, but the injury that he picked up isn't one that is considered to be long term. Like as soon
And
as the game
it's a
ended,
minor injury. It's nothing
yeah,
serious. Like it's nothing that's like going to hurt him long term. Like it was even like I said, that's why it was brought up that he could easily just play this week. Like it is nothing to like be concerned about long term or anything like that.
me
Uh
too.
but yeah, I mean okay, maybe I'm being too harsh with Javante, but he's hurt. He has two running backs. He does not have two running backs breathing down his throat at all. Samaje P. Ryan is awful. Like he's been awful for the most part this year. Um, but with Javante Williams, like heading into this year, he was always a long term play. We knew starting out the season that he was going to be in some sort of committee that they were going to work him along slowly as the season progresses, was always where you wanted Javante Williams because second half of the season, once he gets further and further away from the ACL injury and his knee injury and everything else, you're going to start to see him get more and more back and being the guy. And I'm not much of a tape grinder guy, but you know some of the stuff that was posted about him, like some of the runs that he's had over like the last time he played, not last week, but the week prior to that, like he's starting to look more and more like Javante Williams he was pre-injury, and that's all we need within this offense. Now, this offense hasn't been great either. Their defense has been dreadful. But I do think Javante Williams, and like you mentioned James Conner, but James Conner doesn't have value. Like nobody's excited about James Conner. Nobody was excited about James Conner heading into this year. That's why you could draft him or you could draft him because it's James Conner. Just nobody's excited about him. He's kind of like a Brian Robinson. He's just like, he's there, whatever. Like he's fine. Like you're not getting some haul for James Conner or anything like that. So getting that and getting some of the other pieces that were within that. Like, is it a slam dunk trade? No, but I think long term, like I said, second half of the season, Javante Williams could be like a league winning type running.
YouTube, let us know how many of these players you need, and then we'll come back to your question. Daniel, start to Pollard, Cook, Jones, Swift.
Pollard and Swift.
Pollard and Swift for me as well. Akil, DJ Moore, or Terry McLaurin.
Terry.
Terry for me as well. So we need 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex here for you, Tuba. Puka, Garrett, Jamar, Nico at wide receivers. So we need to sit one. I'm going to sit Garrett Wilson.
Yes.
Then 2 running backs, Hall, James Cook, Miles Sanders. We're going to sit Miles Sanders.
Who's the flex?
Adam Thielen.
I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson at the flex.
Jacoby or Dobbs?
Aiden O'Connell didn't look terrible, to be honest. I'm gonna go Romeo Dobbs.
Not going to be any help here. I would go Jacoby Myers. I think Jimmy G makes it back. They have the Monday game. You'll obviously know that beforehand. You know what I mean? So if it's not, oh, it's the same game. What am I even thinking? So you'll know either way. So if it's not Jimmy G, just plug in Dobbs. But if it is Jimmy G, I'm going Jacoby there. DJ Moore for James Cook, straight up.
Yes. If you can get James Cook for DJ Moore, I'm doing that.
Need 3 here for Daniel. Chase, Ayuk, Watson, Collins, Cook, and Jones.
Chase.
Ayuk and Collins for me.
Chase, James Cook, and Collins.
Drop Cook for Akers.
Yeah, I think you can do that.
I would. Any of these other names stand out to you?
No. I mean, maybe Algier, but
yeah, it would be. I think I would put Algier above Akers, so I'd have it Algier, Akers, and then Gibson or Cook, I guess.
Also, I got Cook for Hollywood Brown. Was that a good trade?
That's James Cook. I like it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if that's Dalvin Cook, that's a completely different feeling.
Yeah.
On the other hand. So, all right. We have thoughts on Waller. I think he's going to bounce back. I know it's been a tough start to the season. He has certainly not been what we hoped he would be so far. He's really only had the one game. But I think better days are ahead for him and this offense in general. So,
yeah,
it is tough, but it's also the tight end position. So let's be honest. There's not a lot of greatness coming out of most of these guys, really, to this point. I mean, it's kind of been the top 3 guys. Even Mark Andrews has had a game or one game where he struggled a little bit, but yeah, I think it's like the top 2 guys, or top 3 with Kelsey, Hockenson, Andrews, actually top 4, probably Laporta deserves to be in that conversation of just being consistent fantasy producers for the most part. And then, then it's kind of everything else behind that. So, YouTube, James. Okay, good. Then yes, no problem at all. Colts are my team. My team for my question before: quarterback Goff, Walker, Swift, Williams, Jones, Akers, wide receiver AJ Brown, Wilson, McLaurin, Davis, Thomas, Rice, Kelsey, Aubrey. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that you are, especially as it sits right now, stacked at running back, just because obviously Jones just coming back from the injury didn't do much. Akers still kind of up in the air. Assuming that's Javonte Williams, he's banged up now too. So, I think you're stronger at running back, but I think if you end up trying to bundle those guys, you might end up making a hole at running back to try and get better at receiver.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think if you're gonna do that, you have now's not the time to do it. You would have to wait until Jones has one of his 30-point games, and then try and move on from him after that.
Cameron, two wide receivers for running backs to flex. I have Henry, Kyron, Achan, and Devontae Adams, Nico, Olave, Kirk, Flowers. Okay, so two wide receivers are going to be Devontae Adams and Olave. Two running backs is going to be
Adams and Pittman.
Oh, I didn't see that. Good call. All right, Adams and Pittman, and then running back is going to be Henry and Achan, and then in the flex, I'm going to flex Nico.
Yeah.
Oh, did I miss one?
Yeah. Wilson or Pickens.
Jesus.
That's going to be Pickens for me. The outside corners for Cincy have been playing well.
You mean for Baltimore?
It's Arizona Cincy, right?
Oh, I was thinking George Pickens because you said Pickens. Yeah. I was thinking, yeah, they're playing Baltimore. You're right, as you were.
It's slightly lean Pickens, but it's closer than it should be.
Yeah,
We've
and
seen
I do
Trubisky be okay.
Yeah, and I do think that it feels like Michael Wilson's a little bit point chasey too.
Yeah.
Oh, we already got that one. With the outlook for Wilson and Hall for the rest of the season, you think the Jets will get a new quarterback? I don't know. I think it really depends on. I don't think they will. Like they've invested. Like it's really tough. Like you'd have to find a quarterback that is on a 1-year deal that is expiring, something like that. Like I think they've went this far. I think if they were going to do something, they would have already done it. And if Zach Wilson can at least be like, he doesn't need to be great. Like even if he can be a game manager, then like I think they could be okay. But like that's all they need is like average quarterback play. So
yeah,
I'm in my first. I'm first in my league, but I am thinking of selling Williams high. Is he sustainable all season?
this is Kyron. Duh. I mean, is scoring 2 touchdowns every single week sustainable? No. But that role, it's really hard to pass up on that role. So and I think just because, especially the fact that he was a waiver wire guy for a lot of people, you're not going to get the type of return for the role and the ceiling that he has.
Coulter, appreciate the super chat. Thanks, you are great. No, you're great, Coulter. And still, go Chiefs. Yeah. Screw you, Cody. And your Chiefs hate.
It's us against the world.
I never said that's not what was said. Mr. B, Zay Flowers or Christian Watson? I'm gonna go Watson.
I'll take the swing on Watson.
Just such a good matchup.
Najee, Pierce, Akers. Kevin, I know you hate Najee, but you're not.
You have to go. You have to go Najee with this. I hate it. I hate that you have to deal with that. I hate that you have to have Najee on your team because Najee has been just absolutely dreadful. But yes, we can't play Cam Akers yet. At this point, we've seen absolutely nothing to believe that anything else is
possible. Impossible. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. Amon-Ra, B-Rob, Bijan, Pacheco, Collins, Dell, McLaughlin.
Jeez.
Amon-Ra, Nico, Bijan, B-Rob, and Pacheco.
Yep. Casey, who'd you rather rest of season? Breece Hall or Jerome Ford? Breece Hall.
Breece Hall. The takeoff, the ascension is about to begin.
Yes. Strap it in. Foo. Sup? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. But you unfortunately came at the very end of the stream. Appreciate everybody checking us out. I think we've answered every single one of the questions. Almost a 3-hour stream once again, but we appreciate everybody
What
rocking
we
with us
do.
and coming in and answering and asking questions. We appreciate all the super chats. What's our question there? I'm a Falcons fan, so I drafted
Um,
London. Should I keep him, drop him? I try to trade him. Yes, he's probably my sixth wide receiver. I'm losing hope in Ritter. Yeah, I'm losing hope too. Drake London should be way better than this. It's not a Drake London problem. It is a Arthur
Arthur
Smith
Smith.
problem, and
Yeah,
somewhat Ritter as well. I mean, he's not. Maybe they should just start Taylor Heineke, but they're going to have to lose a lot of games, I think, for them to move on from Arthur Smith. Unfortunately, if they keep staying competitive, that won't happen. So frustrating. But anyways, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate everybody rocking with us all night. Appreciate asking all the questions. We'll be back again tomorrow night for the DFS Week 5 breakdown. Now I just think you're. Is this what we're doing? So we're doing DPJ or Kayshawn Booty. It's gonna be DPJ, but he's not even playing. So Browns are off this week. But the rest of season, it probably is Donovan Peoples-Jones.
probably.
Yeah. So, anyways, keep it locked in here. Hope to see you. And if not, if you didn't get your question answered, we'll be back again Sunday morning to get you locked in. All three of us should be back for that. I will be there for that show for Sunday morning, leading up to lock. So, everybody have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you very soon. Bye bye.